Good evening, one and all. It's Friday, it's the end of the working week, and today we're jumping back in to a bit of an old haunt. We're jumping back in to the home brewery because right here we're going to continue development of turning warframes into D&D monsters. Welcome in, everyone. I hope you have had yourselves a wonderful week where you are around the world. Welcome in. Where's the DJ option? I've turned it off because I don't want to listen to EDM today. Is quite literally why. Rather than put the option up there and be like, nah, I'm not going to do it, and then refund you the points and all that lot, just go the option for today. We're chilling it out a bit. Because, let's face it, this isn't a high-octane environment. This is literally what we're looking at right here. It's turning warframes into Dungeons & Dragons monsters all the way down. There's a little bit of imagery at the start there, for those of you who haven't seen this document before. That's not all the way throughout so far, because I'm focusing on the actual mechanics of it. But as you can see, as I scroll down, there are quite a few entries in here. Just a couple of entries all the way down, and the most recent I've done on this document is add in Gara Prime. Z-Train, cheers. Cheers indeed. So, yeah. Going on from here, this is in alphabetical order, aside from the starter frames. I started with the starter frames, got Excalibur, Mag, and Volt, and then I went alphabetically thereafter, which means that the very next one is, of course, going to be Garuda.
Wow, it's already been 8 months, the Gan 18 sip.
It has indeed, with a Fang19. Thank you very, very much there for subscribing once again up onto that full 8 months. You're absolute legend. Cheers on that. Welcome in. Hope you enjoy what we got here today. There's a lot of text there. There is indeed an ALIC. There is indeed. Because it's to cover a lot of warframes. And you'll see here, even for Gara, I've got 4 different stat blocks. We've got the Gara Initiate, Gara Adept, a Gara Master, and then Gara Prime. The idea behind that being that each of these, we got challenge rating 3, 8, challenge rating 13, and then challenge rating 18. So each warframe tier goes up by about 5 challenge ratings. So there's something for every party to encounter. It's not just, oh, warframes are super overpowered, so no one can ever face them until they can face gods. It helps if you can face God before fighting Gara Prime in her lair, but a Gara Initiate can introduce your party to the idea of fighting against warframes. And still, they're for a threat appropriate to their level. So that's what I want to do with Garuda today. So I need to scroll all the way down. Actually, not quite all the way down, because I do need to make this easier, copy the initial stat block, just so I've got the formatting, actually, of Gara Initiate there. And what we'll do, grab ourselves a new page. And just like that, if I scroll down, boom. I now have my Gara Initiate bit. Also, it seems to have copied over the dazzled block, and I don't need that. I can get rid of that right there. Yo!
9 months, let's go.
Airsoft Sniper with the 9-month resub, following straight on behind with a Fang there. Thank you very much, Airsoft Sniper, for resubscribing with your Prime once again. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys very much on that. Trusty Trasper, meaning to catch these every time I get the stream notifications, but keep forgetting. Reckon I should show up and stick around for my favourite frame. Oh yes, indeed. Garuda's your favourite? It's a good pick. She is a very powerful frame, and also the best Arcwing frame, funnily enough. I'm not sure how many people actually know that fact, but yeah, Garuda, 100%, unquestionably the single best Arcwing frame. The more you know. Lately been asked about this, what's my favourite D&D class? Out of the 12 that come with the standard rulebook, or core rulebook for 5th edition, probably Sorcerer. I know Sorcerer's not the most powerful, but the theme of it is a lovely one. Otherwise, a lot of the casters are up there for me as well. So your Clerics, your Druids, your Wizards. Not so hot on Warlocks, but that's a personal preference. Warlocks just seem to be more brutish in their approach to casting, which doesn't quite fit my vibe. Doesn't quite. So, first things first, we need a blurb for Garuda, and then I'll get into the actual stat block. So, blurb for Garuda. How do we introduce her? Now, to introduce her, I want to think about the kind of theme. See, I've not been thinking too much about Garuda on the approach to this. I'll be quite honest, I've been focused on other projects. I've got some interesting bits and pieces coming up for the YouTube channel. So I haven't been thinking too much about Garuda as a D&D monster. So the first thing to really consider is theme. What kind of theme we want to roll with here? Garuda's I'm kind of afraid when Gauss gets turned into a D&D monster. Yeah, that could be an interesting one. That could be an interesting one, but I'll manage it. I've managed so far everything else. Garuda was actually one I didn't do on stream. So let me just show you. Mass Vitrify has a big spell block compared to, you know, most other things in here. I mean, Maime's a pretty big one as well, but most other things in here do not have huge things. Inferno is a single paragraph. So when I say that Gara is a big one, it is a chonker right there. But Gara is, well, it needs it. Spell, 1 action, 1 minute on Gara. Gara expels, and this is Gara Prime, so 4th ability available. Gara expels a ringed wall of liquid glass to surround itself. It begins to expand the ring outwards. Once Gara begins to cast this spell, it is unable to move or take actions until the start of its next turn as it channels the spell. The wall is 10 feet tall and expands to a radius of 5 feet around Gara immediately at the end of Gara's turn. Gara may use legendary actions after other creatures' turns to extend the wall's radius by 15 feet with each action, literally turning legendary actions into part of the spell casting. Hostile creatures struck by the expanding wall become encased in glass as the wall envelops them and the creature becomes restrained. There's no saving throw on that, it just applies. Already should be putting the fear of God into the players. No, wait for Citrine. Yeah, Citrine's going to be at the end of the list because very new Warframe. Very new. So we've missed the Citrine in the alphabetical listing. At the start of Gara's next turn, the glass wall instantly solidifies, blocking hostile creatures and attacks from passing through the wall, yet allowing Gara, its allies, and their attacks to pass through unimpeded. Each 5-foot wide section of the wall has AC blah 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 stats, immunity to damage and effects connected to a saving throw, and immunity to poison and psychic damage. So, you need to bust down the wall, you can't just casually knock it with other stuff. Full cover? Technically full cover because it blocks attacks and creatures going through, yeah, Gorilla. So it is functionally full cover. Each creature restrained by the spell, that's bit from up here, must make a strength saving throw at the start of their next turn after the wall solidifies. It's a DC 20 strength saving throw, so you better hope your wizard didn't get caught in it. On a success, the creature breaks out of the glass and the spell effect ends on them. On a failure, the creature becomes petrified in the glass. At the start of subsequent turns, the creature may reattempt the strength saving throw, ignoring the restriction from the petrified condition. If the creature takes 10 or more damage between turns while petrified, it has advantage on the saving throw as the setting glass weakens slightly. Should the creature fail to break free before the spell duration ends, that's only 1 minute, the petrification becomes permanent and can no longer be broken out of except by means of greater restoration or a wish spell. So that is a lot to break through there, but basically this says, hey, here is a wall, it expends out using legendary actions, any bad guys caught in it will be restrained. Done. Then, this says the wall now stops expanding and it becomes solid, here's what it takes to break it, here's what it does whilst it's there. And then this bit is saying, so, you got caught in the expanding wall of glass, did you? Well, let me tell you how fucked you are. It needs all of that to really encompass the fear that is Mass Vitrify. But I think as far as 9th level spells go, it certainly has a bit of a threat to it. So yeah. I'm quite happy with how that's come out, so I want to get that kind of same feeling to Garuda, work it way up until we get to that 4th one and Garuda just says, oh, you wanted to face me, did you? Mistake. Yeah, a lot of Warframe abilities are really quite terrifying to encounter. They should have you wondering, did we make a mistake making this person our enemy? I think we made a mistake. We're all gonna die. And that's the impression I've kind of tried to go for here. Now, there are serious weaknesses to it. For example, this expands out 15 feet per legendary action. Garuda gets 3 legendary actions, so that's 45 plus the initial 5, 50-foot radius. A 50-foot radius wall, that's big. But this is at level 18 challenge, where you've got enemies flying around. So anyone that just kind of hops over the wall or just stands back a bit goes, okay, cute little wall you got there. What are you going to do next? But for the party that isn't prepared, they try to dogpile Gara just freezes them all on the spot, and they all go, shit. Was anyone more than 50 feet away? Is anyone still alive? Because otherwise we're dead. That's the other part of my designs for the Warframes, is that if you do not do your research, you will get murdered. If you do your research, then you have a chance. They're only monsters after all. You're supposed to be able to beat them. So, yeah. If you think about Warframes in a realistic setting, you'd realise why the Grineer wanted to prevent them being awakened. It's rather understandable, isn't it? Like, the poster child for Warframe is just dude with a sword. And honestly, he's not that terrifying. Yeah, sure, he can use his sword to deflect bullets. That's kind of a problem, but hey, we got grenades, we got rocket launchers, deflect that, buddy. And his super ability is glowing sword. Like, as far as Warframes go, this isn't that terrifying. If you want to introduce new players to the sheer scale of what a Warframe can do, you don't introduce the sword guy, you don't introduce the stomp guy. Nova was a nice pick with the portals, but if you want to really terrify them, bring out something a little bit flashier. Bring out something like Wisp opening a portal to the sun. They don't need to know how the stats don't really work out in the game. Portal to the sun, kind of a big deal. Or maybe introduce, Ember. Flexes, fireballs everywhere. Or perhaps introduce, I don't know, most of the other Warframes. You got Vauban who can call in a orbital strike just on a whim. You've got Korra that can bind them all up. There's loads you can do instead of just sword guy. Come on now. Sword guy is just, no. Nyx is pretty spooky. Nyx is pretty spooky, absolutely, yeah. Daito saying, from me starting a new Warframe account on console, found out one of the most annoying things role-playing a Warframe isn't having to grind all the progression all over again, but simply not having access to Sanctuary Onslaught. Yeah, I can understand Sanctuary Onslaught kind of becomes a bit of a crutch for leveling, doesn't it? Kind of becomes a crutch. Like, when you see the different themes of all the Warframes, you understand why I regard Excalibur with some disdain. Excalibur is just sword guy. And that's it. His first ability is move with sword. His second ability is second ability is shiny sword, blinding sword. Third ability is thrown swords. They call it radial javelin. It's basically thrown swords. His fourth ability is shiny sword. It's just swords. Anyway, Garuda. Let's get on to what Garuda is capable of. So, in terms of her abilities, general overview, she's got the first for tearing out enemies' bloods and using it for a shield, or creating a dread ward. Second ability, that is her blood altar. Third ability, bloodletting. Fourth ability, what is it called again?
Insert witty comment.
That's where she had slash to everything. Ronald, thank you very much for your witty comment. Honestly, one of the funniest I've read so far. It's a shame that most people aren't going to, read between the lines there. That was an amazing joke, Ronald. All the same, Ronald, thank you very much for subscribing with your Prime. On to 4 months, my dude. Cheers indeed. SF saying the scariest for me would be Saren. You can just choke out of nowhere. Nah. Saren spreading a plagues are a very mundane thing. You want to be scared? Fight Equinox. You don't need to see Equinox. You don't need to hear Equinox. You don't need to know a damn thing about her being there. You just notice that your allies in front of you suddenly started screaming, lacerations appearing all over them. And then, a moment later, they all just split apart. Nothing happened. You saw nothing else. They just started being torn apart by an invisible force, and only the ones in front of you, your allies to your side, your allies behind you, unfazed, but the ones in front, just gone. And then up ahead you see, stepping around a corner, this figure, this warframe. You're not sure of this one, you've not seen it before. But as you go to raise your gun, as you go to take the shot you've been well trained to do, you feel the lacerations begin to spread across your body. And you know, this is not going to end well. Equinox is terrifying. And that's just one ability. She doesn't hold back in a hole. Nah, fuck you. We're just going to be unfair about this. Elite Wolf, you appear to have set your keyboard to wingdings. Might want to try again on that one, dude. But yeah, pretty much all the warframes are terrifying. And then you get Excalibur. Waves around his sword. Like, that's impressive. Bro, we had swords before the evolution of pretty much everything else. It's not that impressive. Alright. Garuda. So. Mistress of... How do I want to put blood magic? Just blood magic? Yeah, let's not be too fancy about this. Mistress of blood magic. Dare I? Actually, I wanted to not gender warframes, so I can't really... No, that's no good. That's... Paragon? Paragon sounds too positive. Eurelia isn't a warframe. Eurelia is a cosplay made by an AI generator. Patron... Hemokinesis. Hemokinesis, I feel, is too specific. Hemomancy... doesn't roll off the tongue. I say, revolving the remains of enemies, Garuda's talons reap and tear through your opponents in a frenzied bloodbath. I like the idea of Avatar, I like lore. I won't go with the Hemokinesis, but I do like Avatar. Avatar, blood magic. Vampiric magic, I don't want to go with vampiric. Vampiric literally evokes the idea of vampirism. Garuda is not a vampire. And because we are dealing with an entirely different game set here, Dungeons & Dragons, which has vampires, to go down vampiric really gives the wrong connotations. Blood magic is straight up what Garuda does, but vampiric is different. That's why I'm definitely not going that route. Bastion? Bastion gives me more of a defensive vibe. Whereas Garuda is very much the offensive. That's why I like Avatar. Avatar is just embodiment of power. And that I do like. So, Avatar of blood magic. You know what, I want to go... Let's triple barrel this. Avatar of blood magic, something of something, something of something. A triple barrel approach. Avatar of blood magic... Not devour it. Talons of blood magic. We'll get to the talons bit. We'll get to the talons. Queen of Gore. I won't go queen. Queen is gendered. I'm not gendering the warframes. All the way through, they are it. I can't use queen. What would be the totally... Monarch? Monarch. Monarch of Gore. There we are. Regent sounds like there's someone else above them. I want Garuda at the top. The descriptions. We gotta really sell them. Avatar of blood magic. Monarch of Gore. Oh, I like that wrapped. I like that. Butchery personified. Now that is a nice triple barrel introduction. Avatar of blood magic. Monarch of Gore, butchery personified. Carnage incarnate? It kind of bounces back on itself as words. Carnage incarnate. Just doesn't quite have the same selling power to it. This sounds better than our introduction in Warframe. It's made by committee, so I suppose, you know, more heads are better than however many were working on it in Warframe. To each their own. In any case, Avatar of Blood Magic, Monarch of Gore, Butchery personified. Make sure to pack more than just medkit against this rending force of nature. No, not force. They're not actual. Rending. What's this? Rending war crime. Garuda. Leaves little to mourn. Let's try that. Avatar of Blood Magic, Monarch of Gore, Butchery personified. Make sure to pack more than just a medkit against this rending war crime. Garuda leaves little to mourn. Because that's all it needs to be. Just a short intro, like with Gara. Bring it in. Say, okay, this is the theme of this Warframe DM. If you need something along this kind of theme, bring in Garuda. And I think that sells it. We don't need to get into the details of the talents or whatnot. That's going to be clear in the abilities and the stat block. Just, you want blood, you want gore, you want horror? Yeah, here you go, Garuda. It's rending terror. This war crime or terror? War crime or terror. Make sure to pack more than just a medkit against this rending terror. Or make sure to pack more than just a medkit against this rending war crime. Yeah, war crime is more political. Why am I getting a Steam message? Feck off, Steam. I haven't got you any games open. Feck off. Yeah, terror is non-political. I prefer that. Terror, abomination, horror, rending. Abomination, I think, oversells it. Monstrosity. I can't use monstrosity. That's the entity type or creature type. That's cheesy. These are good words, but they don't quite fit the bill. Terror's good enough. Terror fits it. Monarch of the Crimson Ball. Now you're going down a different route. I like terror. Terror works. Alright, cool. We're done with the blurb. If I've spent too long on that, we'll never get the actual Warframes done. So, Garuda Initiate. Meaning Monstrosity, Neutral Evil. Now, we start with the first ability, Dread Ward, right off the bat, which means I can focus on Garuda having more of a caster focused defense. So I can go for lower armor class here. Given that Garuda is going to be regenerating and burning hit points with later abilities, I think having a higher hit point pool but a lower armor class gives her that very much doesn't matter if I bleed, I live for bleed, live for blood kind of approach. So giving her more hit points seems to be an idea for me there, but lower armor class, she's just taking hit after hit unless she gets the Dread Ward in the way. I think that'll be the way to go with on this one. She's not very heavy on the caster damage after all. First ability, we can get it to do damage, but that's not its main focus. Second ability is healing. Third ability is energy generation. Fourth ability is for the prime. So she's not going to be a damage caster. So yeah, going for the higher hit points. Doesn't need lots in the speed. And then we have the talents just kind of go crazy with. I think that'll work. And of course, Nagantakus, a repeating crossbow. High con will hit all those hit points. Yeah. I haven't got in the stats as yet. We're only just starting here. So, bringing up then... Oh, did I forget to open it? I forgot to open up my cheat sheet. I am an idiot. Give me a second whilst I be an idiot. D&D. This one? Nope, that's not the one. Where'd I put it? That's the one. There we go. Alright, got it. So, we got our stats to work with. Challenge rating 3, Garuda. No, I put Gara as a 3, but I want to put Garuda as a 4, because Garuda's a little bit later into things. So Garuda for a 4. AC, they usually recommend 14 for this, so I'm going to drop that right the way down. I'm going to go -3 on the AC for Garuda. So I'm going to go only AC 11. It's definitely low. With that in mind, then, let's make the dexterity only a 12, so that it's no armor at all in this one. Garuda is completely unarmored. Do we care about how a passive works? Yeah, I'll be bringing in the passive on Garuda. Garuda definitely needs to bring in the passive. That's what's going to make her even more terrifying. If she gets going, she'll get going. Low AC, high hit points and con. Exactly, yeah. Now, if we're not attacking with dexterity, we need to be attacking with strength. Hello, Zom. How you doing? Also, Water King Raptor. Cheers. I'm turning Warframes into D&D characters. Into D&D monsters, Azam. Monsters. The point with monsters is that monsters can be all kinds of crazy things, but also relatively limited in their scope. And the balance is just, hey, here it is, it exists, players fight it, end the game, move on. Characters, the things that the players play, are much harder to balance, and I don't see a Warframe being properly balanced. Not for character play. Warframes are supposed to be a far more... far more one-dimensional, frankly. They are just agents of war. Whereas a D&D character should not just be an agent of war. Even a fighter or barbarian isn't just, haha, I have big sword, I hit. You can do so much more with them. But you can't do that with Warframes to the same extent. So, Garuda Initiate, Armor Class 11, hit points, let's see, hit point aim. We're going for this, let's bump it up. Let's go... I don't want to go hugely high, but yeah, let's go 2 up. Yeah, we'll go 2 challenge ratings up, so 105 is our approximate aim here. Lots of hit points, bag of hit points. Speed 30, we'll keep that standard. Across the board stats then, so we don't need to focus too much on the casting stats, so I could bring intelligence down to a 12 for just a +1. I need a total of +3 across the board. We've got -3 on the charisma, because I always do on the initiates. So we got a total of +6 to work with. So that's 1, 2, so 5, 4 left. If we go +2 on the con, +2 on the strength. And if I just go 0 on the whiz, that should... do I want the int over whiz? Let me see. Garuda's... No, they're mostly focused on non-strength based stuff. So actually, if I go for a little bit on the whiz, give them a little bit of perception, less on the intelligence side. And then we have these stats. Let me just check and make sure I've done that all correctly. The 14 strength, 12 dex, 14 con, 10 int, 12 whiz, 5 char. Should work across the board. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -3 for 3, yeah. And what I will do with the later incarnations of Garuda, beyond the initiate, is also bump up the charisma. I know I'm not going the vampiric side, but I think that kind of connection of the charismatic blood mage kind of can tie in. So I'll give Garuda more charisma as we go up compared to other Warframes. Just to make a little bit of a distinction again. Challenge rating 4 means the XP is actually 1100. I did that wrong. Wait. There we are. I accidentally hit whatever that key is. Insert. Proficiency bonus should still be +2 because it goes up at 5, so that'll be fine. One of you really needs to work on your own campaign. I mean, I think I've still got the link available for most of these Warframes over on my Discord, so if you did want to just airdrop in some Warframes and not tell your players they're Warframes, you could still absolutely screw them over. Alright then, bullet jump. Once per turn, Garuda may turn a jump into a bullet jump, jumping as if it had a run up, all that usual stuff. They cover twice the distance to the vertical. Vertical is 3 plus strength mod normally, so that'll be 5, so it becomes 10. Horizontal is your strength score, so instead of 14, it's now 28. There we go. Dazzling appearance is gone, because that is a Gara thing, but instead we have... I'm going to call the passive Bloodlust. I don't know if the passive has a name, so I'm calling it Bloodlust. Whenever Garuda lands a hit. Actually, do I go with the old school? I'm going to go with the older style of Garuda, and because of that, I can actually make it simpler. When Garuda drops below half health, which would be bloodied in 4th edition, you can use that in 5th edition just as a marker. So when Garuda drops below half health, Garuda deals double damage with all weapon attacks. So that rules out the magical attacks. Garuda deals double damage with all weapon attacks. Boom, straight up. When Garuda drops below half health, Garuda deals double damage. Because, hey, this is going to be terrifying. Double damage is going to be pain? It is, but that means that I can scale back Garuda's damage at the start, and then when things get going, the players get complacent, Garuda just completely loses their mind and shreds into them. And there's no increase in the attack bonus, it's just pure damage, so it keeps it on the level. Toddon saying, didn't know my favourite Warframe YouTuber also played D&D. Oh, thank you very much for saying I'm your favourite Warframe YouTuber. Maybe one day I'll be your favourite YouTuber overall. But yes, indeed, I do play, well, I have played a lot of D&D. I haven't had a group for a while, but I've been busy with other stuff. But yes, indeed. Made the base 75%, doubled to 150%. Exactly, yeah. That way then it's still a threat, but it's not a threat which completely overwhelms the mathematics of it all. So, Bloodlust, there we go, which means we can then come on to Dreadward. It is called Dreadward, isn't it? I'm just going to doubly, triply, quadruply check that. Dread Mirror. Dreadward is the augment. Dread Mirror, there we go. Alrighty then. I was saying, I tend to think anyone nerdy enough to be into Warframe would also be into D&D. I mean, it makes sense. D&D, certainly if you are creating stuff for D&D, you need to be a little bit cognizant of the numbers, otherwise you're going to screw everything up 5 ways to Sunday. Jason say HP calcs reach 105 is 16d8 gives you 104 total. Is that 16d8 plus 32? So 16d8 would be 9 times 8 times 9. 8 times 11. No. 8 times 9 plus 36, wouldn't it? Yeah. No. Have you got 104 total? 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 per hit die plus 2 times 16. 4.5 times. 4.5 plus 2. For 6.5 per hit die times 16. 104. How did I get it so wrong? Oh, I put 36, not 32. That's my problem. I derped the mathematics after just talking about how you need to understand your mathematics. Anyway, yes. You are correct. That works. Not enough tea, clearly? Yeah, I'll have some more. Alright then. Jason, once again, thank you very much for bringing up the ancillary numbers there. Definitely helps out. Alright then, 16d8 plus 32. That is the hit die on this monstrosity of a Garuda. Dreadmirror. So, now this is where we have to get real spicy, because Dreadmirror is directional. I would like to keep that idea. Dreadmirror also gives the idea of reflection, but we'll get to that. So, this is going to be a spell, one action, lasts for 1 minute. I know a lot of the spells I give them last for 1 minute. It just works as this roughly lasts an encounter thing. Garuda leaps into the air and surges and propels itself at an enemy. At a creature, because we're not going to be targeting inanimate objects. At a creature it can see within just 30 feet. As I'm saying, currently playing FTL, just got a glaive and burst glaive as a Mark III active at the same time. Oh, that is a lot of power to run that. Probably going to die at Sector 6, only 2 shields. Zom, you are screwed. The money you spent getting both of those weapons online, you absolutely want to invest into other stuff. Zom, how much have you got in your engines? I'm curious, how much have you got in your engines? Yeah, I know Dread Mirror doesn't reflect in Warframe, but it's the idea of using the word mirror in D&D, which could confuse, but we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it, Idle Outlaw. As I'm saying, enough for 100 dodge during cloak. Okay, if you've got cloak, 2 shields isn't anywhere near as bad, actually. If you've got cloak, you can handle a lot more. 100 dodge during cloak. So you've got 40 dodge normally. You're gonna struggle against the flagship, but you're only in Sector 6. You've got another sector, maybe with a sector and a half to fix that issue. Maybe if you can get a defense drone online as well, because otherwise the flagship will screw you over big time. Alright then, Garuda leaps into the air, propels itself at a creature it can see within 30 feet. Garuda makes attack with its talons, and I'll be adding in the stat block for that in a moment. Garuda saying, I just checked in Warframe, it says 30 meters, extensive for Warframes, meters feel shorter than they are in D&D. No. I'm going with a shorter range. On the high level ones, I will give them a longer range on that. But for this one, I'm starting on a very short range. So that Garuda can't just scale into insanity too quickly. This is only the initiate. Challenge rating 4. Don't want to go too crazy on that. Dread Barrier. Do I rename? Yeah, Dread Barrier. I do prefer the idea of renaming it Dread Barrier. I know that a lot of the time I keep the actual names of Warframe abilities, but this one does need a change. Garuda makes an attack with its talons against the target creature, knocking it prone on a successful hit. Movement 30-foot attack. Bullet jump as well. It's going to be very mobile. I mean, all the Warframes are mobile. Bullet jump, as much as it gives you mobility, you've still got your limit of your move speed of 30 foot as a monster. Because you can't exceed your speed by jumping. So this 28 foot horizontal, for example, if Garuda were to jump 20 feet horizontal, okay, cool, you've used up 28 of your speed. Just gone. Nope, still strength based, Idle Outlaw, still strength based. Because otherwise the armor class and dodging for things like fireballs will be a lot higher. Garuda, I'm going with the side of just taking it and then still tearing you apart. Fast doesn't mean dexterity. Fast is fast, dexterity is dexterity. They are two separate things. Despite a lot of games trying to act otherwise when they run as RPGs overall, that's because they turn them down to 3 stats. Sword whacking, magic powers, and everything else. It's the Skyrim approach. This ain't that. Garuda makes an attack with its talons against the target creature, knocking it prone on a successful hit. Whether Garuda hits or not, it generates... it conjures an ornate oval barrier in front of itself. 10 feet wide and 6 feet. 6 feet tall. Indicate that it is meant to properly cover a space. 6 feet tall. I'll say Putsy would have made her more of a glass cannon, able to dodge more effectively. No, going the opposite way, because Garuda's going to be burning hit points with later abilities and regenerating hit points. The idea of having a hit point pool, Garuda is fine losing health. Garuda wants to and intends to lose health, but they can also bring it back again, so they are very much on the swing side. Downside to that is they're throwing away their defenses. That's the start I'm going for there. Would that work like half or 3/4 cover? I'm going to be describing that in it, Gorilla. I'm describing that. Going to an ornate oval barrier in front of itself, 10 feet wide and 6 feet tall. 10 feet wide, I should say 10 feet wide, comma, 6 feet tall, and 1 inch thick. We use imperial measurements in D&D for some reason. Conjures an ornate, transparent oval barrier. Make it clear they can see through it. In front of itself, 10 feet wide, 6 feet tall, and 1 inch. Thick? Thick. Thick. There we are. As I was saying, just hoping those plus teleport enough to fight the half-built flagship. Not trying to beat the game, just more unlock ships. Fair is unfair. Alright then, so we got our barrier. We need to describe the barrier. Provides 3/4 cover. I know I misspelled quarters. 3/4 cover to Garuda in the direction Garuda is facing. The barrier moves with Garuda. Allies adjacent to Garuda on the correct side of the barrier also have half cover. Only half cover for allies, because you think the barrier being 10 feet wide, you got 5 foot in front of Garuda, and then you got 2.5 feet either side, extending into ally spaces or blocking ally spaces. That's why there's only half cover for them. Now, do I want to go with using Dread Barret as a damage attack as well? I should, yeah. Adjacent or just behind? Adjacent. Adjacent but on the correct side of the barrier. So if they are adjacent but in front of Garuda, they're not on the right side of it. That's why they have to be adjacent, and adjacent can be left, right, or behind. They'll get half cover either which way. Technically speaking, if they're directly behind Garuda, they should already get half cover anyway, so that doesn't make any difference. It's mostly the ones left and right. Yeah, I will go with damage dealing on Dread Barrier. It's just implementing it without taking up too much space, because this is already taking up a lot of stat block space, so I have to be aware of that. Garuda saying, the second half of the first barrier is when she channels, the power blood bomb explodes everyone. That's the scary part. Yeah, I just... I don't want to go crazy with the details on that one. I know that we can channel it, empower it, empower it, empower it, empower it, and then launch it. I don't want to give the DM loads to track, I don't want to give them loads to calculate, and I don't want to make this overpowered. So, what can we do there then? I think just... Let's go Fireball? For a challenge 4? No. Again, I don't want to focus on Garuda becoming a major damage spellcaster. A Blood Bomb be a separate ability? Nah, that doesn't work either. The whole point of the designs is to have them be an ability per tier. You have your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4. Initiate has 1 spell. The Adept has 2, the Master has 3, the Prime has 4. Taking it from that. And again, I don't want to make it really wordy. This is already long power for a first ability. I'm thinking something along the lines of Garuda can dismiss the barrier early. Something. Each time she uses a Dread Barrier, she's using it once, so that doesn't count. Garuda won't be recasting and recasting. It's not like Warframe where we have 20 million energy thanks to Arcane Energize, Xeneric, and all the other good stuff. All of the Warframes in this design have limited casting because they're only going to be living for like 3 to 5 turns anyway. So we can't scale it with continued recast of an action spell. That doesn't work either. I say again on break. Hi, Ray. As a bonus action, Garuda can dismiss the barrier and just unleash the energy. Screw the whole explosive heart bit. As a bonus action, Garuda can shatter the barrier. And if we go for something like a close burst attack, it's just something in front of her. Justin saying, Garuda can dismiss the barrier early as a ranged spell attack that deals an amount of damage equal to the amount dealt when the barrier is spawned. Gives something for the DM has to track again over a potentially long time. Don't want to do that, Jason. I like where you're going with that, but it doesn't quite connect. Hey, Jasper, long time. Great skin. It's been a while. Hope you're well. I am well. Hope you are well yourself as well, Jasper. It has been a very long time, hasn't it? Oh. Good to see you in all the same. Barrier stores damage inflicted on it. New. Again, tracking. More things to track. The DM's going to have enough to handle with Garuda. I really don't want to give them more to track. So I think I'm just going to go with kind of a thunder wave kind of approach. But again, this is only meant to be a single spell cast. It's not going to be first level. It's going to be above first level. So I don't need to worry about metering it too much, but yeah, it doesn't need to be anything extreme. I think, yeah. As a bonus action, Garuda can shatter the barrier early. Can explosively shatter. There we are. Again, give the vibe to the DM, what they're working with. As a bonus action, Garuda can explosively shatter the barrier early. Creatures on the other side of the barrier from Garuda must make a dexterity saving throw. DC on that is going to be 8 plus proficiency plus intelligence. That's just going to be 10. That is low, but we'll deal with it. Dexterity saving throw, DC 10. On a failed save, creatures within 10 feet on the other side of the barrier. Whoops. Creatures within 10 feet on the other side of the barrier from Garuda must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes, I think 2d6, because Thunderwave is 3d6. This is doing other stuff already, so scaling it down a bit, 2d6. 2d6 slashing damage. It should be 7 brackets 2d6. Well, Jeff saying, very sorry, got a job, fell off the face of the earth. Remembered Variety Fridays, the Among Us days. I'll pop in and say hi. I'm glad you have popped in. And congrats on getting the job as well, Jasper. Hope it is a good one for you. Rob's been keeping me updated every now and then about bits and pieces here and there, but it has been a while. It has been a while. If we go with this, 10 feet is only a short range on it. That again can scale up as we get into high levels of Dread Barrier. The damage can scale up. The DC is intentionally low because, again, Garuda is mostly focused on using it as a barrier and using their talents for attacking, but this gives them an alternative option. If the barrier's not working for them, if they want to take it out of the way, something like that, they can just shatter it. A reimagining of what we have in Warframe. Adam Alec, cheers. Oh. Alright then, so, Void Powers. The Garuda's Void Power ability is Intelligence, Spell Save DC 0, Attack bonus a measly +2. It can innately cast the following power, and this is 1 per short rest. Yes, Shattered Lash is at will for Gara. So that's a fun thing. Did he tell me about that? He did not, Jasper, no. He did not tell me anything about a bike. I'll be honest, when I say he's told me details, he's told me precious little, but little bits here or there. I'll be honest, I can't even remember if he said he moved or not. Yeah, it's been a while. Alright, void powers, 1 per short rest, actions. This is where we can bring in the talons. Melee weapon attack, this is going to be a +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, 1 target. Hit, let's go with 2d6 on the talons. So 2d6 plus 2, slashing damage, that's 7, 8, 9, that's 7, goes to 9. And let's see there. So we're going for challenge rated 4, damage per round. We're actually looking for 25. So I think giving a triple attack on the melee weapon might be worthwhile. Oh, hey, you got yourself a motorbike. Very nice. I can definitely see that being your style, Jasper. Absolutely. The question is, have you got a flame decal on it, or literal flames coming off it as you drive along? Because again, I feel that is definitely very much up your alley. And let's go for ooh, heavy crossbow. Yeah, heavy crossbow. Range weapon attack, +3 to hit. Range, I've got the range on a heavy crossbow. Appropriate for an attacker? So I'm thinking, because we can go with heavy crossbow and then we can give Garuda the perk to just be able to use the crossbow more and more, because monsters don't need to worry about loading limits. So yeah, starting with heavy crossbow, range weapon attack +3, range is 100, 400, 1 target, hit is going to be, it says here 1d10, so 1d10 plus 1 piercing damage, which has an average of 5.5 plus 1 to 6 piercing damage, and we don't need to worry about that. There we go. Garuda ignores the loading property of heavy crossbow. Of crossbows. So if the DM wants to give them a light crossbow, they can. So ignoring the loading property means that Garuda can just go fire, 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 fire in a turn as needed. Garuda is also immune to bleed effects. Bleed effects don't really happen in 5e. So it's not something I need to include or make a point for. Normal Garuda isn't actually immune to it in Warframe either. Just to say, I did think about flames, probably would have gone with the hideous orange fenders it came with for some reason. It was just destined to be, wasn't it, Jasper? Just destined to be. Does a 5e have a crossbow as a clip of some sort? 5e technically can have anything you want to invent, but I don't think that 5e, at least not in the player's handbook, doesn't have any kind of repeating crossbow, no. The closest you can get to that is a light crossbow with the crossbow expert feat, which I'm kind of giving slightly, sort of, but not actually that here to Garuda. I want to go multi-attack. Garuda makes 3 attacks with its talons, or 2 attacks with its heavy crossbow. The focus on the talons there, meaning that Garuda is definitely more deadly in melee range, because the crossbow, we're only going to get out there 12, technically 13 average damage, whereas this will get all the way up to, actually wait, no. 2 attacks. 2 attacks with its talons. I just remembered, Bloodlust. We don't need to worry about that. Don't need to worry about bringing up the damage to meet the average here, because we're going to be working with it anyways. 25 is the average aim. Turn 1, we got only 9 damage, but also casting Dread Barrier. Turn 2, we'll have 18 damage. Turn 3, we'll have 27 damage. No, 36 damage. Now let's check how much does that actually come to. Turn 1 we got 9 damage because we cast the damage from Dread Barrier. Turn 2 we get out 18 damage from 2 casts of Talons. Turn 3 we get 18 twice over, so we get 36 damage. Over the 3 turns that is an average of 21 damage per turn. 25 was the A. We've also got Dread Barrier that can explode. I would say that's pretty much bang on. That's pretty much bang on. Jasper, off now. Got work at 3 AM. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Jasper, you take care of yourself then. I'll catch you around. We definitely need a proper catch-up at some point. Righty. But yeah, I think this actually lands pretty much where we need it. Also, this needs to be Dread Barrier. Yeah, there we are. And it just about fits into this single column here. So we can have a nice, fancy-looking Garuda with the claws held up high and taking up the picture spot there. That'll be perfect. 21 per turn sounds like it hurts. Well, Gorilla, what level is the bards that you are playing with? What level is the bard? Also remember that this damage is meant to be spread across the party somewhat, because this is a medium challenge for a level 4 party. 9th? Sorry, you've got a 9th level bard, and they're scared about 63 damage? That doesn't sound right. Hold on. The bard is a D8 class, right? What hell? Bard's a D8 class. They start with 8 plus con, and then they'll gain 5 plus con per level. So if you're 9th level, 8 lots of 5, 40 plus D8, 48 plus con. If you got plus 2 to con, that'll be another, what's that, 18, 48, 58, 60. It's close, yeah. Those are some bad HP gains, or not focusing enough on Constitution. At 9th level, I'd expect a plus 2 con on them. Also, you got to remember the other thing as well, is that when I talk about the damage calculation here, I'm only talking about the actual hit damage, not the take into account the misses. So, actually, Gorilla, your bard would be just fine. Your bard would be just fine. In fact, they would one-on-one this Garuda Initiate, no problem. And that's correct, because challenge rating 4, they're not supposed to be a challenge for a 9th level character. Yeah, in fact, let me grab the encounter book a moment. So, encounter information is going to be items. Is it before or after that? After that. I can never remember where in the book this section is on building encounters. Maybe it's before it. Come on. Why is the DMG just like 90% magic items? I swear down. Okay. Encounters. I'm looking in the index. A187, was that it? Aha! Here we go. So, for a 9th level character, 1100 XP in itself is considered a medium encounter. Granted, of the numerical difference in the number of people present, it would actually be more than that. So, yeah, this would put it into, for a 9th level character, a one-on-one with a Garuda Initiate would be medium to hard. Just on a very flimsy basis of what's in the DMG, a one-on-one 9th level character versus Garuda Initiate should be medium to hard, which means that they're going to have to spend some resources, but there isn't a high chance of death. What inspired me to recreate Warframe for D&D? I like D&D, I like Warframe, and I'm good at numbers. So that should do it there, you know? You'd struggle to pull it off? I don't know if it'd be too much of a struggle, to be quite honest, Gorilla. I mean, Gorilla, thinking about your bard, what is your bard's go-to attack? What is your bard's way of dealing with a threat? And if that's just Vicious Mockery, you're not trying hard enough. So try harder, you're level 9. Ancient Art of combining two things into a third thing? Exactly, yeah. And I did check, I did run the idea by D first to make sure I wasn't treading on any toes with making this. Bars go to attack, seduce them. Do not seduce the Warframes, please. This will end badly for you. Their charisma score shows they have Reddit level hygiene. It is not a good idea. It's actually simply more hypnotic pattern at charms. Okay. Well, Garuda Initiate is not immune to charms. So, yeah. As Dyson says, level 9 Bard has access to Hold Monster, but Hypnotic Pattern in itself should be enough. Hypnotic Pattern, 5e. Third level illusions, you're not even using your highest level thing here. Twisting Pattern, then you've got Cube, Each creature who sees the pattern must make a wisdom saving throw. What's the wisdom on this one? +1, that's terrible. On a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the duration. Spell ends for an affected creature if it takes any damage, or if someone else uses an action to take the creature out of its super. Okay, but that's not really the best go-to, because you're going to be hitting it anyway. The Hold Monster is going to do you a lot better. Barbarian is sweating right now. Your Barbarian should, if you had a 9th level Barbarian out there, you should carve through Garuda Initiate. And Garuda Initiate, with that armor class of 11, your Barbarian should just be like, oh, okay. Whack, 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 whack. You're dead. Just, you know. Oh, you're Wet Noodle Barbarian, level 3. Yeah, no. The challenge rating 4 is, oh, if you're level 3, get your friends. Bring a party of at least 4 of you, or this is going to end in death. Even if you don't have... even if you do have 4 of you, it might still end in death, because that 9 damage becoming 18... Oh, that's gonna sting. 18 damage twice in a turn? Like, this is gonna get extremely swingy. This Bloodlust is terrifying. You want to back off a bit from Garuda. So yes, be careful when fighting this one. And certainly if your wizard is low on hit points, do not let Garuda hit. Because your wizard could get one-shot by Garuda. Just Dread Barrier alone could one-shot the wizard if you're not careful. Enter the room, sees Garuda, leaves. I mean, that is a good response to the Warframes, yes. That is a good response. Bloodlust versus Barbarian Rage cancel each other out. Very true. Very true. It's kind of an anti-rage, isn't it? Rather than damage reduction, it's damage amplification. Bloodlust is anti-rage, and Bloodlust Rage, very synonymous things. I mean, it just works. It just works. So, we have ourselves Garuda Initiate. The other things I need to check here is the skills, acrobatics. Okay, Garuda and acrobatics, yes. That absolutely is staying in, but that's going to be a +3. The other stat, I want to go with perception. What other skill do we give Garuda? I'm thinking intimidation is pretty much the one. Like, blood magic is just intimidating. Intimidation. Performance? I don't know that Garuda would ever need performance, to be honest. But we could add performance on the next one. If it seems most fitting, we'll put it on the next one. So intimidation brings us up to a -1. A skill modifier of a -1. Ah, you've never seen something so terrible. You've never seen something so terrible. But this works. Weird Eldritch statue thing is just bleeding as giant claw things. Yeah, that's scary. Also, she has the ability to use a repeating crossbow. A repeating heavy crossbow. Okay, she hit me with 1 bolt, but she's not going to hit me. Oh god, she hit me with a 2nd bolt already. Okay, is this one that can fire 3 bolts? There's going to be ones that can do nasty stuff. Right then, so let's bring us onto... I've copied and pasted onto new page. Garuda Adept. Garuda Adept, I'm going to bring up all their stats, bits and pieces all around. They're going to get a +1 across the board and a little bit more here or there. So, Strength can go up to a 16, so that's a +3. Dexterity can go up to a 14, so that's a +2. Constitution go up to a 16, so that's a +3. Int can go to a 12, so that's +1. Wiz can go to a 14, so that's a +2. Now Charisma. Normally I'd bring it up to a -1 at this point. I'm going to bring this all the way up to... Yeah, if I bring this up, just jump straight to 10 with that. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, that's the correct sum of stats there. What is D&D? D&D stands for Dungeons and Dragons. It's a tabletop role-playing game. The basic premise of which you've got a bunch of people around the table. One of them is the Dungeon Master. The others are the players. The players each have a character they control with stats and bits and pieces to determine how good they are at what they try to do. The Dungeon Master is everything else. The world, the characters, the traps and hazards environments. The Dungeon Master describes a scene. The players dictate how they would attempt to react to the scene. And the Dungeon Master adjudicates the results of those attempts. So, for example, you enter into the dimly lit cavern room. Your eyesight seems to be worse in here than you'd expect as the darkness is creeping in, and the cold, damp air sends chills down your spine. As your torch flickers away, the acrid smoke beginning to fill up the small room, you notice that the dim light glints off something on the other side. Claws extend from the darkness, and before you can react, shriek towards you. Garuda is upon you. Roll initiative. And that would invite the players to say, okay, time to get out the bits that say who gets to take what turn. Garuda has arrived. What are my thoughts on the D&D film that's came out? I don't even know when it's coming out. I'll get around to watching it at some point, probably. Also, Dalty, cheers. Yeah, alright, let's roll this. We said performance on here, so... Performance... Yo! Oh my word, Your Lucky Clover coming in with a party of 219. I can say that is a few too many people for a single D&D group, but that aside, welcome in everybody. How are we all doing today? Let's have a quick shout out there to Your Lucky Clover. Do I remember how to do this? It is shout out Your Lucky Clover because they are an amazing person. If you're not already following them, definitely give them a follow. Welcome in everyone. As you may have noticed, we're not doing Warframe today, but we are also still doing Warframe today. I am turning Warframes into D&D monsters, Dungeons & Dragons monsters. So if you've never played Dungeons & Dragons, this is going to mean only half of something to you. For those of you who have played, well, I'm partway through making a lot of them. Lots of them. And I'm currently on turning Garuda into monsters. I'm doing them at 4 tiers as well, so I'm doing them... a basic one, an adept one, a master one, and then a prime one. I haven't got to Nidus yet as I'm going through them alphabetically. We're up onto Garuda. But how was your stream, Lucky Clover? Welcome in. Saying, how's it going with D&D? Sounds amazing. Oh, yes. It has been fun putting all of this lot together. And as and when it is finished, once I've got all of it, I will be publishing it as a full thing. Obviously, under the terms that I can do at least with a Warframes fan policy. We're just getting started on changing over the stats from the Garuda Initiate here into Garuda Adept, which is going to be a lot stronger, obviously because they're going to be a lot higher level. I intend for them to be challenge rating 9, which according to my stats here is 5,000 XP. That's going to be nice. Means I can start bumping up all kinds of stats all over the place. So let's start putting in the numbers. Pray your DM never sees this. I pray your DM does. I pray your DM does because, oh, there's some good stuff in here. There is some good stuff for your players to experience. If you have come across all kinds of different monsters before, now if you properly play D&D, you'll know there's a load of different bits and pieces which can go really wrong for players if they're not well equipped or well prepared. That's what I've done with most of these monsters, is make it where if you are prepared, if you understand, you can fight them. If you go in blind, you will be murdered. And yes, that includes even making Soundquake devastating. Somehow. It takes work. But even Soundquake can be a threat. And yeah, I have published the draft of some of these over on my Discord. So if you do want to grab that, you can head over to... Can I bring this up on here without spoiling anything that I shouldn't spoil? Let me just hide a couple things real quickly. There we are, that should be okay. Right, so over here, Warframes as Dungeons & Dragons monsters over on my Discord in the Miss Games forum. At the very top is the link to grab the file of the in development stuff, so you can grab a lot of the Warframes as created. This one goes all the way up to Frost. Anything after Frost is not going to be published until the whole document is ready. So that is the work in progress, the draft, if you want to try it out for yourself. So yeah, now I'm completely distracted by that absolutely amazing raid. Thank you very much, Yellow Clove, for choosing to come over to here with your community. Let's update the stats on this. Acrobatics has gone up to a +6. Intimidation is now a +4. And so as a proficiency, it makes a lot more sense now. Passive Perception 12. Armor class and hit points and whatnot. Armor class, we're going to make that 12 because no armor. Garuda is going to be very much hit points but not armor. Challenge rating says we should have 165 or thereabout. In terms of the hit points, we'll figure out the numbers on that in a moment. And in terms of jumping, so 3, 12, and this 1632 feet. If you do have any questions as I'm making this, feel free to ask away. I'm not just streaming this to just sit here and create it. If you have got any questions or input, or wonder about how this all works, by all means, ask away. By all means. Challenge rating means roughly a party of 4 players at that level. So challenge rating 9 would be a balance for roughly 4 players at level 9. Kind of, Outlaw. Kind of. Challenge ratings mean that it's a medium encounter, which means it's one that the players will just pretty handily handle. They can handle 6 to 8 medium encounters a day. So just having one fight, like a party of freshly rested level 9s would walk over Garuda Adept 10 times out of 10. If anyone dies to Garuda Adept at a level 9 party, when you've had a rest, you messed up badly. That's how it works in 5th edition. Jason's saying 26 hit dice gets you to 169. Cool. 26 d8 plus, and that's going to be 72, 70, excuse me, 78? I'm going to double check my math on that. I don't trust that. Oh, that's correct. That's good. Just got here. What happened? What happened is I make Warframe happen in Dungeons & Dragons. This is a very long ongoing document. I mean, you can see on the lines counter here, this is line 2778. There is a lot in this. Oh, you're wrong, Jason. Oh, Jason, no! What have you done to me? No, why you do this? Alright, I'll do it myself. D8 is 4.5, plus 3, so 7.5. 165 divided by 7.5. 22. Yeah, it's 22 bang on for what we're gaming for. Jason. Everyone has their moments. It's fine. There we go. And it's 22 D8 plus 66. Not 44, because it's a plus 3 con mod. Which you already took into account, Jason. Okay, so Dread Barrier. I'm going to level this up to 3rd level. Which means we can give it a little bit of stat buff. So let's make this 45 feet in range now. Creatures within 15 feet will be hit by the explosion. The DC on the explosion is now 13? Oh, not 113, just 13. I think that's right. 4 plus the int mod 5 plus 8 is 13, yeah. And damage, let's increase that to 3d6 to make that 10. Not a huge increase, but still an increase. Alright then, spell save DC is 13, attack bonus is a 5. Okay, I'll come to the actions afterwards. Let's bring in Blood Altar. Because this is our second Garuda, they can cast this spell. 1 action, 1 minute. Garuda launches at a creature it can see within, let's go 45 feet, but we'll keep it to 45 feet as we level up on this. Garuda launches a creature it can see within 45 feet. Garuda makes a melee spell attack. Do I capitalize melee and spell? Do I capitalize it? I'm gonna capitalize them. Melee spell attack against the creature, and that is going to be a +7 to hit. On hit, the creature is restrained by restrained by spectral talons, anchoring it to the spot. And I'm going with spectral talons so that Garuda can cast this on someone who is in the air. Garuda can launch up at them, anchor them in place even if they're hovering. For the duration of the spell, Garuda and its allies within, let's say, 10 feet of the restrained target regain how many hit points? Let's go with int score. I'll scale it off int. So regain 12 hit points at the start of their turn. No, Garuda for the duration of the spell, if Garuda or its allies start their turn within 10 feet of the restrained target, they regain 12 hit points Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. Okay, cool. So, if you start within the radius, you gain hit points, or rather, the bad guys will be gaining hit points, because you usually are the players. So that's already off to a good start there. We want to also be draining the altar. So, each time a creature regains hit points in this fashion, the restrained creature must make a Constitution saving throw, which is DC 13. On a failed save, they take... Ooh, now what damage do we do with this? What damage should the Blood Altar do? What damage type? Because it's just damaging normally in Warframe. It doesn't have a damage type, does it? We could go with piercing, being skewered on it. Necrotic. Ooh, actually, yeah, necrotic works, doesn't it? Yeah, it's leeching. Yeah, necrotic. I like that a lot. We'll go necrotic. On a failed save, they take some amount. We'll figure it out. Necrotic damage. Do I capitalize damage types? I don't think I do. No, I don't. No, what am I doing? On a failed save, they take some amount of necrotic damage, or half as much on a successful saving throw. Now, do we allow them a way to get out of the ability? If you've been skewered, do you have a way to get freed? No. No. It's only going to last a minute, and if there's no enemies left, then it will just vanish. It'll just time out. You're taking no damage, you're just skewered, like, ow, this hurts. And then it runs out, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm not dead. So, no, actually. There's no way out of it directly. If you want to get out of it, dispel magic. It's a spell, use it. If you don't want it to land in the first place, counterspell. It's a spell, use it. Otherwise, get wrecked. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it in play. It's not going to be the most devastating, and because it's doing spell damage, it will not be affected by Bloodlust. So that's fine. In terms of the damage output per turn, we're aiming for about 45. Now, with loads of allies, this could scale kind of crazily, so let's not go too crazy with it. So let's just go with... Let's go with 2d4. Same as a health potion. It's an... Well, not quite the same as health potion. Close enough. 2d4 plus 2. So we'll treat it as an anti-health potion. To fit with the theme of Blood Altar being healing for others, so it's draining in the opposite direction there. So, 2d4 is 5 2d4 necrotic damage, or half as much on a successful saving throw. Yeah, it's not a stun. I don't like using too much in the way of petrification and stuns, and this is a relatively low level ability, which is why absolutely I'm only going for Restrained. How about if there are allies deal damage to spectral talons, they dispel? Nah. Having this a oh shit moment is right the way up there. If you want to get rid of it, you gotta use some magic on this one. There's not a lot you really have to work around. In a lot of cases, this one I'm fine with it being just a case of shit, it happened, now we have to deal with it. Because the damage it deals is only if Garuda and its allies start their turn in the area. So, move them out the area. It's only a 10-foot zone. Yeah, trading damage for cracking... I see where you're going, Idle Outlaw, and for other abilities that does exist. In fact, I did that with Gara's Mass Vitrify. You can straight up just strike at the glass. Strike the creature to weaken the glass to give them a better chance of getting out. So that does exist on other abilities, but with this one, no, I'm quite happy leaving it as a... You tried your best wasn't good enough. So, deal with it. Just deal with it. Alrighty then. Dispel magic, third level spell. Yeah, exactly. There should be ways and means to handle. If you're coming up against a Garuda, you've not done your research, and you just kind of blunder into one, a Blood Altar is going to be the worst, at least your concerns. The rest is, you know, Garuda is here and she is tearing your faces off. Kind of a problem for most people at that point. The actions I'm going to have to put onto a new section. If I do like that. Yes, but I need to do a separator tag as well. Like so. Yeah, that's coming in line. So if I don't do that... Yeah. There we are, that's necessary. Formatting things. Okay, so... 1 per short rest on Dread Barrier. And 1 per... What am I doing? It's 1 per short rest, so I can just put it on the same place. Dread Barrier, and then... we have Blood Altar. And for the sake of balance here, I'm only going to make that 3rd level as well. Because that way then, it's easier for it to be dispelled or counterspelled. But yeah. I think that should put that one in a good spot there. It's not a whole lot of damage. This is more about healing Garuda and her allies. Garuda and allies have to group up to really use the healing, which is going to be terrible for AoE spells, which certainly have come online by level 9. But yeah, it locks it down. It locks it down. Right then. So, multi-attack, talons, and heavy crossbow. Now, I don't want to give Garuda too many attacks overall, just because so many dice to roll. But at the same time, I do want these attacks to get stronger. Let's see where we need to be in terms of damage output. Let's assume that Blood Altar is going to be running for the entire time, and it's only going to trigger... Let's say it triggers twice per round. So that is 10 damage per round coming out from Blood Altar. We've got Dread Barrier is going to take up an attack turn, but then it can be recast later. The recast... is Garuda probably going to use it? Maybe, maybe not. Hard to say. Oh, I've not made it clear that Garuda can attack through the barrier. That's dumb. Right from the start, I should have done that. In the direction Garuda is facing. And the barrier moves with Garuda. Garuda and allies can attack through the barrier unimpeded. There we are. Okay, cool. That is a necessary clarification. Let me just copy that, update the section down here. Yeah, there we are. Cool. All right. Warframe D&D? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okie dokie then. So, let's follow these up then. So we're looking for 45 damage output per round. So we got a single attack of Talons. Blood Altar we're saying is active the entire time. It probably wouldn't actually be. Also, this is taking an action. With this taking an action, are we going to get enough damage out of her? Do I make Blood Altar a bonus action? Or do I make Dread Barrier a bonus action? No, Dread Barrier stays a normal action. Blood Altar... Blood Altar doesn't feel like it should be a bonus action, but without that, the action economy here is going to suck. And yet I can't switch over to bonus action attacks because that's going to massively outscale. Surely. Would it? That's a toughie. That is a toughie. Actually still appropriate Blood Altar? I'm thinking that as well. What about a reaction to reaching half hit points? I'm going to save off on that for now. I mean, we've already got the on half hit points Bloodlust, which is, you know, really ramping up the damage anyway, right? Movement, effect, and damage all in one? True, yeah. Yeah, Blood Altar should remain in action. Okay, I'm going to give Garuda a bonus action attack. That should work. We go... Hash, hash, hash. Bonus actions. Quick Talons. Garuda makes an attack with its Talons. Pure and simple. So one bonus action attack will be able to slot in there. So let's see where we're currently at and how much I need to scale this up. Dread Barrier activates. We get one attack of Talons plus quick attack for another Talon. So that's 2 lots of Talons. Blood Altar. Let's assume Blood Altar comes second, actually. So Blood Altar comes second. That's going to be dealing the 5 damage. We'll get to that one. We'll assume 2 lots of this over time and 2 creatures triggering it. So that's going to be 10 damage per round. And then we got another Talons attack, so that's 3 Talons attacks. And then on the turn 3, full-on Talon attack, so we're up to 6 Talons. And this triggers again, so it's 20 from this, and 6 locks to Talons. Okay. And the 3 Talons on the end are going to be double damage, so it's effectively 9 Talons. So let's see, we are aiming for about 45 damage per round, which over the course of 3 rounds is 135, minus the 20 from the spell, assuming 10 per round on Blood Altar for 2 rounds. 115 divided by 9, we're wanting about 13 damage per hit from Talons currently. 13 damage per hit. Okay, now this, when we upgrade with the strength, will come up to 10. If I made that 3d6, would that be 13? It would be, yeah. Let's go with that then. 3d6 plus 3 slashing damage brings this up to 13. And that should balance it. Would it be worthwhile making one of their abilities concentration? Blood Altar makes most sense in my mind thematically. Ooh, concentration is a tough call, Outlaw, because of the whole swing on that vanishing. When do I give saving throws to creatures? Do I start? Oh yeah, from the Adepts they should have a saving throw. We can go with the con saving throw and go with the concentration on Blood Altar then, yes. I don't use a lot of concentration, so that is a good shout. Outlaw, I really like that. Concentration. That's how Dread Barrier... Not Dread Barrier. That's how Blood Altar ends. Or ends early. Concentration. I like it. But yeah, this should be the saving throw in here now. Saving throws... con plus 6. Which against level 9s is still not going to be amazing for Garuda, especially with that armor class. But it's something. It's something. And if anything, having that up there, I think justifies taking this up a step. We'll take this to 2d8. Nearly, or straight up doubling the damage there. Straight up doubling the damage, but that's because I don't expect it to be as strongly lasting. Okie dokie there. With the heavy crossbow and all the bits of stats here, these stats need to change. That is now a +7 to hit. This is now a +6 to hit. This one, it's currently 1d10 plus 1. Oh, it's 1d10 plus 2. So that in itself is only 7 damage piercing, so 2 shots of that is only going to be 14, which is, dare I say it, chat, terrible damage output. So, do I make this 2d10? Remember it doubles after half health? It does, I know. But they're still not getting many attacks out because heavy crossbow is only in action. Because assume, in craziest scenario, the Garuda only used heavy crossbow attacks all 3 turns. Because that is an option. If they use heavy crossbow all 3 turns, then we've got currently 14, 14, and then probably 28. Which is only 56 damage. Which is not... It's only just equivalent of a single turn. So the heavy crossbow is terrible there. Whereas compared to the Talons, if they use the Talons every single turn, using that same process again, we got 3 Talons, 6 Talons equivalent, because it's double damage on the last one. That's the equivalent to 12 attacks, 156 damage over time. So, if I bring this up to 2d10, I add an extra 6 damage onto this. So this goes up from 2d10, it goes from, yeah, it's 13. The range attacks are still worse than the melee attacks, because melee you can hit more often. It's got a lower 2-hit bonus. So switching to a 2d10 there And I think, actually, if I'm going to switch to 2d10, I'm going to call this out as the Nagantaka. Let's give it a named weapon. I've not done this often. I'm adding in more. So, for example, I put a note through here. We've got the glass dart on Gara, which, what kind of weapon is a glass dart? So I think bringing out the named Nagantaka for the Garuda is a good idea at this point. To justify being stronger, it could be a reward item. Here is a heavy crossbow. It lands a 2d10 rather than 1d10. Players will be like, what? I want it. But for level 9, I think that's balanced. So, how do we bring in a note box? I did that for Gara Initiate. What does a note box look like? It's just a dash in. Okay, that's easy. Bring us back down again. There it is. Nagantaka. Actually, let's give this a bit of pizzazz. Can I? Ooh, that's not how we do it. Nagantaka crossbow. Heavy crossbow. Nagantaka is Garuda's signature heavy crossbow. This devastating crossbow has enhanced damage despite its ordinary size. A Garuda is capable of firing it with such proficiency as to ignore its loading property, though few others could ever hope to match that skill, which would explain why the players probably shouldn't be able to do it. Similar to Rangers, bow volley spell, slightly weaker obviously since it won't require a spell slot. What's this referring to? Sorry. How about Mag, Dump Effect, Nagantaka? I don't think we need to include that idle outlaw, because at the end of the day, if Garuda can do it, but the players then can't do it when they pick up the weapon itself, that's going to feel harsh. And it's not a spell that Garuda has, so where would we add it into the abilities? I'm happy with Nagantaka having extra damage and justifying, yep, no, sure, players, you can use this 2d10 heavy crossbow if you want to go the heavy crossbow route. At 9th level, that shouldn't be too big of a deal to offer to them. Especially as crossbows are kind of limited normally otherwise. But adding in some ultra attack on it, I don't think is necessary. I get that the Nagantaka in Warframe has that, but we don't need to include everything in Warframe in this for balance purposes. Let's reassess what we have here. We have very low armor class. I cannot stress how low this armor class is. Normally, Challenge Racing 9 has 16. Garuda has 12. Which is absolutely terrible for Garuda. However, Garuda has hit points out the wazoo. Garuda's stats are mostly focused on strength and con, a little bit extra into dex and whiz, but surprisingly high charisma for a Warframe. Downside is Garuda's spellcasting is a bit shite. Barrier cover makes a huge difference. It does, but it is directional. It tells the players, split up. And likewise, Blood Altar. If Garuda wants to use Blood Altar to its full effectiveness, Garuda and her allies have to not split up, which is a devastating flaw in most tactics. So there are failures to this approach, failures which players can exploit. I've said this many a time with all the Warframes I've designed so far. Having failure points that players can exploit makes for a more interesting game, because the players feel so much better when they figure out, we outsmarted you. And the DM can go, oh no, you're too good, players. It's a great experience for everyone involved. Just don't tell them that's what you're doing. We got the Bloodlust, so Garuda can become absolutely terrifying if the players get complacent, like, I can survive this next hit. Garuda only hits for like 13 a pop. They're not even going to hit me that often. 13 damage, I can handle it. Garuda hits you for 26. What? Okay, but that was the whole attack, right? That's both attacks. No, it's Garuda's first attack. But Garuda's got 2 more attacks. Yes. So, you can still catch out complacent players. Oh no, the players beat my monster summons Excalibur Prime. Why would we bring in Excalibur Prime, Athlia? After all that I've said about Excalibur versus the other frames, why would we bring in just that one boring Prime? Look at it, its Prime doesn't even cover the whole page. I've got a carryover from the Master, which is a formatting style I might change at some point, but yeah. It's just, nah. If you're going to be that salty, at least bring in something like Ash Prime. You know? Bring him in with a Blade Storm there and just be like, okay, so every marked creature is backstabbed for plus 12 to hit, 52 damage, magical piercing. If Ash is invisible, cast this as a bonus action. Like, you know, if you want to really terrify your players, bring in something like that. Invisible bonus action devastation. Which just goes to show that as we get into the higher levels here of Garuda, as much as the numbers are going to seem large, we already have large number stuff. You waited to see Wisp's sheet? Oh, Wisp is going to be really easy. Ability 1, Thickness. Everyone dies. There you are. That's Wisp, Athlia. Hit points doesn't matter. Wisp. Ah, dear. Just nullify all magic? That's what... Yeah, Banshee just kind of screws up things a lot, doesn't she? Yeah. Planning to incorporate Ash Banshee into a false Hydra situation for a town? Oh, God. I mean, Athlia, you say Wisp enters room, party dies. Wisp Prime is going to open a portal to the sun, and it's not going to be made for Warframe. It's going to be made for Dungeons & Dragons, whereupon a portal to the sun actually fucking matters. Yeah, it's going to be a thing. Wisp Initiate could be interesting to put together, but we'll get to that on another time. Right now, we have a Garuda Adept. A Garuda Adept, which I think, despite having some very funky stats, is actually balanced enough to make a level 9 party sweat just a little bit. And to make the level 9 Bard we were talking about earlier just go... This will open a portal to the sun, still be the hottest thing in the room. Hey, I don't think I've heard that one before, so well played. You'll do more than sweating, Gorilla, if you're facing Wisp at the very least. Alright. On to Garuda Master. This is where we can start to bring out the big guns. And it's where I can start using a double spread. It's tippity-tuckity-tuck. Down onto this page here. It looks all kind of broken. We take off the Nagantaki piece because we don't need that anymore. But then I go... Bop, bop, bop. Beautiful. Oh, I do love a good formatting system. Makes it so much easier. You encounter Wisp Prime in the next room. What do? Suddenly bad. You encounter Wisp Prime in the next room. Oh wait, sorry, no. You encounter Wisp Prime in this room. She just teleported over and breach surged your face. Have fun! Oh, that'd be horrible. Everyone's blinded and suddenly the sheer force of the sun opens up. So even if you save against the blind... Sun. Yeah, it doesn't end well, does it? I wonder if anyone is going to have a high enough charisma stat to be worthy of Wisp Prime. You thought it was Wisp, but it was actually a Will-o'-the-Wisp. Yeah, because that's an ability, of course. Closest equivalent to Wisp 4 is Moonbeam turned sideways. I mean, Zom. Zom. The closest thing to a Sunbeam is Moonbeam, is it? The closest thing to a Sunbeam is a Moonbeam, you say? A beam of brilliant light flashes out from your hand in a 5 foot wide, 60 foot long line. Each creature in a line must make a con saving throw. On a failed save, take 68 radiant damage and is blinded. And then you can keep doing that for up to a minute. You did not know that was a spell? Well, now you do. Now you do. Sunbeam is quite literally just proper style. And this is only a 6th level spell. So when I give it to Wisp Prime, it's going to be 9th level. But we'll get to that another day. We'll get to that another day. Oh, yes. Oh, dear. Yeah, things would definitely get a bit crispy after that, wouldn't they, Athalia? Right, Garuda Master. I can't keep... This is why it takes me like 3 hours to make a Warframe here, because as much as I'm doing 4 stat blocks, I get so distracted. Wisp distracting players since forever. Who'd have thunk it? Right, let's upgrade the stats. I can get +1 across the board, except for one stat. Needs to not go up by 1. We've already got the advanced charisma on Garuda, so I don't know if I want to bump it up again, but... No, I could just not bump up the wisdom. Yeah, that works. This is going to be a very weird Warframe, but let's do it. I wanted to give Garuda more charisma. And more charisma I shall give. Int goes to 14 because we need it for the casting stat. Wisdom will stay the same. Charisma now up to 12. Garuda definitely bringing out the charisma stat here. This is the kind of charisma that a Prime Warframe normally has, right? Yeah, Garuda Prime is only 10. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Anyhow. Yeah, we're not actually doing Wisp right now, Cosmo. That's a long way down the line. Time for performance expertise. Yeah, I could just put expertise on 2 skills rather than give another skill this time, couldn't I? Yeah, let's do that. I've not done that before. We're mixing things up. Let's keep mixing things up. So that's actually a +5 because it's going to be challenge rating 13. So 1 + 5 + 5 is +11. Oh dear God. This Warframe has a +11 to intimidation. Absolutely no one is surprised. Oh, Azam. Yeah, you earned that bonk, didn't you? Wisp 4 already exists. Who knew words to count were down that bad? Well. So, con save is now a +8. Let's give them another save as well. The next save they can have... Hey, sorry, if we're bumping up the charisma, let's bump up the charisma. Boom. That makes sense to me. Passive perception stays the same. Challenge 13 has an XP reward of 10k. Nice, happy little doubling there. There we go. Does performance matter for a monster? Almost certainly not, which is why I'm happy giving them the skills, because the skills instead more add into the idea of the frame. It gives the DM more of an understanding as to what is this Warframe capable of? What does it lean on? What does it prefer to be doing? So if I just take a random poke here, Atlas Adept. Atlas has animal handling, athletics, and nature. So this gives you a very primal approach. Considering there's a dude that bashes rocks together for spells, it kind of makes sense. Take another punt. We get down to Caliban here. You can see Caliban's got Arcana, Intimidation, Religion, Survival at Master Tier. We've got this broad spectrum of things, but with Arcana, Religion, Survival, Caliban is very wise, very intelligent, I should say, very tuned into the details, and has a -1 to Charisma. 14 int Atlas, Rockman who punch good. I mean, yeah. Because all spell casting done by all Warframes is intelligence based. That is a design decision I have made early on and stuck with. That was, yeah, 14 int. So the int here, Rock and Stone, passive. The int is used in casting Landslide spell and Tectonic spells. I'll have you guys know, just because someone is good with rocks doesn't make them dumb. Exhibit A. You're welcome. So, morning again, how is? Things are going good here, Penguin. Hope you're doing well yourself. Jason, you enter the central chamber and find a innately adorned statue dancing across the far end as graceful as a ballerina. With a captivating spin and a flourish, it turns to face you and unleashes a bolt from its heavy crossbow. Jason, a bolt? Come on now. We got multi-attack. Pew pew. Did you hear Rock and Stone? You did hear Rock and Stone. Yep, that is the name of the passive on Atlas in my document here. Atlas's passive is Rock and Stone. Which just fits. It just absolutely fits. That's just getting players to go, wait, what? I mean, Jason, if your players aren't going, wait, what? Then your Warframe hasn't ambushed them well enough. Guilty. Cheers. You want to hydrate before you go? Fair, fair. A little bit for the road. Right, let's update all of the stats across everything else. Bullet jump, the vertical on this is now even more horrifying. It's now 14-foot vertical. The horizontal, 32 now becomes 36. I need to increase the speed if they're going to use that, so I'm going to give them 5 foot extra speed. Because I am generous. The passive doesn't need to change because that's just a all or nothing. A dread barrier, let's increase the range of the cast. The rest of it, however, the DC on the explosion is now 5 plus 2 plus 8 is 15. Once again, I've done that. Damage, yeah, I'm not going to increase the range, but I'm going to increase the damage. 46, which brings this up to 14. Yeah, that works. Don't need to make any other changes to that. Blood Altar. Blood Altar, do I leave it where it is? Or do I give... No, it needs more heals. Well, the plus to hit changes as well. So that is now... Yeah, so that is now plus 9. I was thinking for a moment, like, why was it plus 7 before? But yeah, it's melee attacks, it's strength. You enter a seemingly empty room. From out of the shadows, Garuda leaps upon your party's paladin, ripping the life force from their body and materializing it into a hardened blood shield. Roll initiative. Yeah, although, I will say, don't let your monsters attack outside of initiative. If you don't follow that rule, if you let monsters take free attacks against your players will try to set up stealth where they say, I shoot the guy, and expect to be able to just do something without rolling initiative. Initiative should always be rolled the moment someone intends to take a hostile action. Not after they've taken it, the moment they intend to take it. That initiative then represents the ability for others to notice the intent, to see those subtle movements, to say, shit, they're about to fight us, and to react if their initiative is high enough. If someone is simply unobservant, they are caught surprised, and so despite the initiative roll, they lose their first turn. So yeah, always bear that in mind. I get you going for just a flavour there, Outlaw, but it's still a point to make clear on everyone on that one. Anyone who's looking at D&D, initiative is absolute. You don't have combat without initiative. Otherwise, you're doing non-combat stuff. You're following a different rule set, as it were. You say I'm subscribed but not. Let me have a look here. Let me have a look. It says previously subbed. Yeah, you are showing up as not subbed on my end at the moment. Idiom, let me check for you real quickly if you want. I can look into when it last came through in case there was a refresh on it. It's telling you to resub. Your sub isn't available until today. Oh, is it only just become available or something? Hold on. I'm going to look into this for you, Eddie. I'm going to look into this for you. Let me scroll down my list of subscriberinos. See if I can find your one. So it should be about on the 24th, if that's what's happened here. Scrolly. Scroll. It broke, so let me try scrolling again. God damn it. Yeah, here we go. You used your Prime 24th of February. You did it towards the end of the stream because you were the second last in the list on that day. So it could be that you're just a little too close onto it. Like, it might pop up over the next hour. Twitch is weird. Twitch is very weird about it. The other thing is you might need to just refresh the stream. Because if you've been watching and it timed out, you might need to hit refresh. Because again, Twitch doesn't know how to handle things live, ironically enough. You already refreshed. Oh, well, yeah, okay. It might just be a case of there's that little hour in it. Who knows? Maybe it's because of daylight savings. I'm throwing it out there. Maybe daylight savings has stolen an hour of your subscription. And I wouldn't put it past Twitch to suffer that kind of issue. It's very possible. Twitch is based in the US. The US has gone forward an hour. Maybe that's it. Now, savings is on Sunday. For us, I outlaw, assuming you're a UK as well, but the US went forwards not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. So maybe that's it. Maybe daylight savings stole your subscription, Eddie. And I can't believe that the fact that I even have to consider that as a possibility is insanity. The farmers who felt the need to force this onto us all, everyone. Everyone goes, oh, but I like having an extra hour of daylight. You don't get an extra hour. Stop being a moron. Stop screwing up the world for your stupidity. Crikey. Anyway, let's not get into another rant about DST. I hate it. Most people do. Those who don't, I've never heard a good reason from them. Amazing. I will beset Garuda against DST. Given the chance. Right then. Numbers. Yes, the DC has gone up. The damage, I haven't touched the damage on this. Yeah, let's bring up the damage. Let's bring up the damage to 2d10. Taking this to 11. That'll do. The Red Barrier is now a 4th level. Blood Altar is now a 4th level because they both had small stat increases. There we are. I'd say I appreciate the extra hour in bed. That's all I get from it. Actually, yeah, you only get an hour extra in bed on the other end of the year. Because Ath, you're UK based as well, I believe. So you're going to lose an hour this weekend. Because was it 2 AM? It becomes 3 AM suddenly. You lose sleep. And this has a known impact on people's psychology, on people's mental health, on people's overall well-being, and this even affects then your physical well-being. And as Penguin says, dislike to take less savings means to see less of Ken's stream, because yeah, it then also has international ramifications too. So yeah, I hate it. It's stupid. Everything about it is stupid. At least Penguin, you've got the replays. But I know they don't have the same personal touch to them. At some point in the future, I may be in a position where I can stream earlier, but it is not that day. Right, let's bring in Bloodletting. Now this could be interesting. What do we do with Bloodletting? Bloodletting in Warframe, lose health, gain energy. But there is no energy. So I've got a couple ways I could go about this. I could go for the haste approach, lose health, gain attack speed. Or, yeah, it could be lose health, regain ability to cast the other spells, Blood Altar and Dread Barrier. That could do it. Yeah, lose health, recharge abilities. Yeah, let's go with that. Sod it. Garuda is just going to be throwing out abilities now. If you let Garuda heal up afterwards, that's your problem. Yeah, let's do it. So, spell. And because it's a spell, Garuda won't be able to use Bloodletting and another at the same time. But spell, 1 bonus action. Doesn't need any stuff because it's not a duration, it's not concentration, it just happens. Garuda consumes its own life force to recover its magical talents instantly. Garuda loses... what hit points do we have at Challenge 13? Did I do the hit points bit? I didn't do the hit points bit. Whoops. We're aiming for 225. So let's say they lose 45. Yeah. Garuda loses 45 hit points. Which cannot be reduced by any means. Yeah, Jason, 225 is the aim we're going for here. Spell slots can be the right word for monsters, Penguin. They absolutely can be. I'm not using spell slots for them, but a lot of D&D monsters do have spell slots. Typically if they have actual casters. Oh, Jason, you've done it again! Jason! It's a +4! It's been a +4! 30d8 plus 90 is not a +4 con mod. I'm not taking you VIP. You've been very helpful, as you have always been right the way through this project. Come on! Alright, DA is 4.5, so 2255 by 2255 by 8.5. We're looking at about 26.5. Let's go with 26. We'll take it down slightly. No, 27. Screw it. Let's go up. We'll go up a little bit. So 27 times 8.5 comes out to 229 and a bit. And 27 times 4 is 108. There we are. And yeah, Jason, it'll be 229 because D&D rounds down. That's why it's 229. As much as 229.5 should be 230 mathematically, not in D&D. Because go figure. But yeah, 229 I think it works for this. Gives us that 45 hit point loss, which cannot be reduced by any means. So Garuda consumes its own life force to recover its magical talents. Actually, do we even call this a spell? I don't think we even call this a spell. Just as a bonus action. As a bonus action, Garuda consumes its own life force to recover its magical talents instantly. Garuda loses 45 hit points, which cannot be reduced by any means. Any void powers that have been used. Garuda regains the option to cast. No, regains all uses of its void powers. There we are. Of each of its void powers. There, that's the phrasing. Bonus action means Garuda will be able to use more than once in combat. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because it's a bonus action. Oh no, it does need to be a spell. Yeah, because I need to restrict Garuda from using the other spells at the same time. Because otherwise, this is going to get. Actually, do we need to? Do we need to restrict Garuda from casting a spell as well as casting Bloodletting? No, I don't think we do. No. No, let's leave it then. It's not a spell. Cannot be counterspelled. Cannot be blocked. It just happens. Yeah. And I'm going to put a special note on this. Garuda can use this ability even if it already has maximum uses of all abilities available. All void powers available. And the reason I'm putting that note in there is to hint to DMs, hey, DM, if Garuda wants to, they can knock themselves below half health and then go on a murder spree. So yes. If they so wish Garuda can absolutely go, oh, you hurt me a bit. Let me show you how it's done. Rage. Alright, another aspect of bloodletting in games is it clears status effects. Could that be incorporated somehow? I like Jason's idea. Put that on the Prime version. Yeah. We'll put that onto the Prime. Make the Prime bloodletting a high level spell. Because it's not a spell. I'm so excited about Murder Sprees. I'm envisioning what it would be like to be Garuda. A big part of being a good dungeon master is getting into the mind of the characters. Of the very, very terrified man who's lost basically everything. To the Garuda who just wants to murder. Kindly, of course. Don't worry. I will make it a display of gore. It'll be wonderful. Get into the mindset of your characters. Since Bloodletting is doing about 20% for health, means you can get to Self to Bloodlust Rage with a turn or two. Yeah, if the players have whacked on her a bit, goes, I could do that as well. Bam. Yeah, it can absolutely get nasty. It does mean there is an interesting interplay with Blood Altar as well. If Garuda is just a hair below half health, Garuda might choose not to stand near the Blood Altar, otherwise losing that double damage next turn. So you got that kind of potential interplay as well. If Garuda is forced into the zone, if she just become bloody, the players could shove her back into the healing zone, let her heal slightly, knowing that's going to remove half of her damage. So that's another play as well you can do. There's so much potential for interplay in this. Just little bits here or there. Whilst also dying, so, you know, that's a thing. Oh, I've not put 1,000 separators on the XP, I just noticed. Do I normally put 1,000 separators? I do. Oops, let me go through and fix that. Just noticed that little formatting thing, which is... it's a deal. There we are, that looks better. That looks better. Alright then. Yeah, her new passive about getting kills, or even if I did it on getting hits, it's too much for the DM to handle, or it'd just be unbalanced. So instead, just Bloodlust is there. Is the Bloodlust a constant effect, or could it be once she drops below? No, it's a constant... oh, I put it as when. I should put while. Ah, good catch. While Garuda is below half health. Because otherwise these interplays don't exist. So yes, you're very correct there. I do need to make that clearer. There we are. That is murderous. Okay, cool. Right then. Now, whilst Bloodletting is nice, and I've given a couple stat buffs to Dreadbarrier and Blood Altar, we still need to improve the rest of this. Because the rest of this still needs to step up the damage. So let's see what the stats come to so far. Talons is now a +9 to hit, whereas this Snag Attacker is only a +8 to hit only. The base damage on this is now going to be a +4, so that's 14. This one is a +3 to make it 14 as well. It's nothing amazing. Penguin said, I do have an idea of Bloodletting. Makes so Garuda herself can't reduce the damage. The players could put temporary hit points on Garuda to stop being able to use it properly. Oh, I see what you mean, Penguin. I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, if Garuda had temporary hit points, those would count first for the casting of Bloodletting, because they're just hit points. And as a result of that, then, Garuda would take less damage. Because temporary hit points are hit points. Garuda loses 45 hit points. Temporary hit points should count for that. Yeah, let's make that clear. Which cannot be reduced by any means other than temporary hit points. Let's go with that. Just to make it dead clear, temporary hit points do get affected. Let's make that very clear, because otherwise DMs have got too many questions to ask. I would like to avoid DMs having to ask questions of the stuff they're looking at. Interesting counter to keep her above half health. Yeah. Well, technically, no. If Garuda's using Bloodletting to get below half health, it is a counter, but, well, yeah. I was thinking if the ability doesn't do damage to the base health pool, the ability doesn't work. Sorry? Okay, let me read you two comments in tandem again. If you do have an idea for Bloodletting, make it so that Garuda herself can't reduce the damage, which is the 45 hit points, but the players could put temporary hit points onto Garuda to stop her from being able to use it properly. Oh, you mean so if Garuda doesn't lose 45 health, then Garuda doesn't get the full power of the ability? In that case, I'll say no, because we'll be introducing multiple breakpoints, like how badly does the ability work or not work, 45, this, that. I would say there's going to introduce too much complexity there, and there's already a lot going on, both with the character and in D&D in general. I like the idea as a potential counterplay, but how that works out doesn't really work out. The other reason I'm going for the temporary hit points there is actually because other Warframes generate temporary hit points for their allies, and that means that Garuda can work alongside those, spending less health bloodletting because of the temporary hit points from other Warframes. So I'm also considering that interplay there, helping Warframes work with Warframes. Question for DMs use, can bloodletting kill herself? Sure, why not? If Garuda is on 44 or fewer hit points and decides to use bloodletting, rip. I don't know why you would want to do that, but rip. I don't know why. I don't know why. Rip. So, sure, I don't need to put any provision on that one. Let's face it, a wizard can technically fireball themselves. Rip. The DM's defense would be really funny. DM's like, using bloodletting. The players go, wait, did you remember to take off that bit of damage at the start? He goes, ah. Garuda dies. Follow up then, could it provide some boost to nearby allies to reinforce the Dread Barrier synergy? I don't feel that Garuda needs to give anything more to allies at this time. Garuda's already got the Dread Barrier, putting in the literal barrier, and Blood Altar for healing. I don't think Garuda needs to give anything more to allies. At the end of the day, Garuda is a monster. Monsters are supposed to lose in Dungeons & Dragons. I think Garuda's doing enough. We'll leave ourselves some space to play with the Prime as well. But let's see then. Damage stats. We are challenge rating 13, so we've got 65 damage per turn to achieve here. Now, this is going to be spicy. 65 over 3 turns. Well, no, 5. Now, let's assume that we start with Dread Barrier and then go on to Blood Altar, like we've been assuming so far. Blood Altar, we're saying that it's going to hit just the once, because then concentration comes in. So, the stats all correct. Oh no, con save is incorrect. Is it? Yeah, it's incorrect. It should be a 9. Don't know why I put 8 earlier. Anyway, so this is going to trigger once. That's 11 damage out of our 195. The rest then, we've got Dread Barrier is a Talon attack, and then we're assuming a triple Talon attack on the final action. With both casts of these, we're also getting in a bonus action Talon. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Talons again. Effective 9 Talons. Which would be, we need 21 damage per Talon to reach that level. Ooh, okay. Now, I don't want to increase the multi-attack, because that'll increase the swing on the final attack rather than anything else. Do we increase the damage of Talons? It's a good idea. Do we want to let Blood Altar hit up to 2 enemies within 5 feet of each other? No, Blood Altar's recastable already, so we... Oh, wait, yeah. Blood Altar's recastable, but concentration. No. Now, we'll leave that out, Jason. We don't need to add in that. 1 restrained enemy is enough overall, yeah. I'm happy with where it's at. We don't need to have a bajillion altars. What I can do is on the Prime increase the radius of the heal. Otherwise, we'll leave it where it is. If anything, I might increase the radius to 30 feet. Think how Paladins have that 10-foot aura, which becomes 30 feet at a high level. I could do the same with Blood Altar. It jumps to 30 feet. That could be devastating for the restrained target, because now there's this huge zone where any allies of Garuda on top of Garuda in that zone are just draining them rapidly. That could do it. That could definitely make this nasty. Alright. Rip to whoever becomes the art installation. Yeah. And the beauty of it, when that one dies, Garuda goes, "Oh, I was having fun with you." Bloodletting, Blood Altar. Cast a new one. Yeah, that could be nasty. Right, so, damage scaling. Ooh. Here's something I've not done in a while. Let's add a damage type to Talons. Let's make it where the Talons are more than just tearing into the enemies. Now let's make them really nasty. Let's see. I mean, the meta in Warframe is /viral, and viral is basically necrotic. So, yeah. Let's make Talons modded /viral. So hit 14 slashing damage, and I just need, what was it, 6, 7? About 7 extra, so 7, which is 2d6, and 7, brackets 2d6, necrotic damage. Boom. That should do. Going to prime the meta slave? Totes. Alright, Max Mad, you have a good one. Take care. Thanks for dropping by today. Nagantaka, I am going to give do I need to... I don't think I need to give the damage to Nagantaka. Or do I? Yeah, let's give it to Nagantaka. Let's give it to Nagantaka. And 7, brackets 2d6, necrotic damage. Fire damage, modded feat. That's very Warframe meta. That probably wouldn't make as much sense to the players. But like, why am I suddenly taking fire damage from a crossbow? As much as you can explain it, it doesn't make sense for the character we're creating here. This blood mage, necrotic works. Heat, it would be out of left field. Also, yeah, as Ray and Ladybird point out, you want them to bleed, you don't want to cauterize. So yeah, even more reasons to not use heat. There we are. I'm sold on it, we're not doing that. Cool. Let's check over all the details here. That armor class needs to go up. 13. 13 might be too low at this point. Oh, it's only 4 points down. 4 points is a lot down. Don't get me wrong, 4 points is a lot down. But no, I'm okay with that, actually. I'm actually okay with that. I'm going to do something I haven't done before. Pin. Yeah, we'll leave that there. Cool. I pinned a message on the stream. Why not? I don't often pin messages. Let's pin where the replays go. Anyway, question again. Where would I be able to get the frame stats? I have a 5e campaign where I could use them. Penguin, over on the Discord. If I bring this up over here. So over on the Discord, you go to the miscellaneous games, because this is a miscellaneous game. In that forum, there is the Warframes of Dungeons & Dragons Monsters, and at the very top of that thing, you've got the drive, which has a number of the previously made Warframes. So we've got Excalibur, Mag, Volt, Ash, Atlas, Banshee, Brook, Caliban, Chroma, Ember, Equinox, and Frost, all in one document. I'm not going to be making any of these future Warframes available until the whole document is complete. Partly because, I'll be quite honest, I've had 0 gameplay review of these ones so far. So I'm not going to be publishing any future ones until either document's done or until I have some more details about how these ones play, to be honest. I need to know. So you'll get more toys when you finish playing with the first ones. Consider it a demo, considering how little artwork it's got in there? Oh, absolutely, yes. You've got plenty of Warframes to play with there. You haven't got Gara, you haven't got Garuda. You won't have the later ones as we get to them. Yeah, give them a whirl. See how they feel. Let me know. Especially let me know. Right then. So, stat check. That's correct. We did those, so that's definitely fine. I went for expertise on the charisma stats rather than a new skill, so that is fine. Proficiency, XP, jumping, I did all that. That... DC is correct. Oh, I didn't do the DC here, so let's fix that. Definitely 15. 5 plus 2 plus 8. Yep. Attack bonus is 7. So this then... Oh, is attack bonus 7? Yeah, attack bonus 7. Threw me off. That one's a plus 9, but that's because it's special. That should do just fine. Yeah. Dimcan sounds unnerving. I am a fair DM. I make sure the scenarios you encounter, whenever I've ran any campaign, the scenarios that the players encounter are scenarios that they can handle. They are scenarios which are befitting to their talents, both as players and as characters. But also, I let them know that the monsters that they encounter are playing to win as well. The monsters are at a disadvantage because the players typically are the ones who are going to continue the story on. But if the players set themselves up for failure, failure will come because I am a fair DM, not a soft one. If the blue Dragonborn druid with very even stats and therefore nothing special decides to challenge a blue dragon to a one-on-one fight, and the blue Dragonborn has mostly electric powers to use against the electric resistant blue dragon, or lightning resistant I should say, then understandably it goes pretty badly for the blue Dragonborn. This actually happened. Said blue Dragonborn died. The final shot that killed the blue Dragonborn, however, was not from the dragon, but the dragon was flying away, carrying its quarry that had won from this 1v1, despite the fact that it was not a 1v1. The rest of the party dogpiled the dragon as soon as it landed for the fair match. It knew that was going to happen. As the dragon's flying away, with this blue Dragonborn in hand, or in claw, in talon, whatever you want to say, the spirit ranger of the party tried one last Hail Mary shot to rescue their comrade, and accidentally skewered him through the face. And so ended the life of that blue Dragonborn. Brenrin, I think his name was. R.I.P. He challenged a dragon to a 1v1, even though it was a 5v1, and still lost. That was a kind of like similar to a Worf moment, thinking TV tropes, because I didn't just have that fight happen and allow it to proceed. He did get a nat 20 on the charisma check to try and invite the dragon to a grounded 1v1. But the entire time, one of the players that was right up next to the dragon wailing on it had an ability that if ever the dragon attacked something other than him, he got a free attack against the dragon. Despite the dragon knowing this, it kept attacking the blue Dragonborn rather than the other guy. I think he was a paladin. It was like, I'll take the free attack then. Smack. Another one. Sure, I will keep hitting this thing until this dragon realizes I'm going to murder it. He did not murder the dragon. The dragon demonstrated they were not ready for that fight. They could have maybe pulled it off with a bit more strategy, but they didn't have a strategy. They just kind of dogpiled and hoped for the best. It did not go well. But the blue Dragonborn also, the player of that guy, didn't want to keep that character. He realised it wasn't really a build he wanted, so he was happy to accept the penalty of losing a character. It was interesting all round. And like I say, I make it fair. I'll let the character's decisions, the player's decisions, run the show. Sounds like he was a regular errand for the dragon. I'll be honest, I was getting a bit concerned. The dragon's health was getting really quite low. It was a tight one. It could have gone either way. But it worked out. If the druid had literally any damage type other than lightning, he put everything into lightning. If he had anything else, the party would have killed the dragon. But instead, the highest damage he dealt in a turn was 2. Because he dealt 12 damage to the dragon, and the dragon resisted 10 of it. They could have killed the dragon, technically. But they didn't do their foreplanning and research, which allowed the dragon to act insensibly. I didn't have to play it carefully. I allowed the players to feel the great high of, yes, we've deceived the dragon into an easier fight, and then the lows afterwards of, fuck. Okay, we misunderstood the challenge here. This was not so simple. I kept it fair and interesting. They later killed the dragon. It's fine. And they killed its mum. It's fine. Oh dear. Anyway, I need to be doing the Garuda Prime, not reminiscing about ancient D&D groups. You just realised how PC personal computer and PC player character can get real confusing? I mean, it shouldn't. When are you going to be using both? Yeah. Out of context, Ken's and then killed its mum, it's fine. I mean, Jason, Warframe. We load it up. We go out and find ourselves a sister, murder her for a gun, and then we go rescue Space Mom from an Egyptian pharaoh. Or post-sci-fi Egyptian pharaoh, yeah. Go figure. Kill your sister, save Mum from a post-sci-fi Egyptian pharaoh. Warframe's weird enough. Oh, and the entire time, don't forget that we are an ancient child soldier. Ancient child... Yeah. There's a reason I don't include the operators in this D&D packet. Alright. Garuda Prime. Okie dokie. This is now where we can make it devastating. The speed I'm going to increase that to 40 foot. Just give them a little bit of an edge, but not a huge amount. Let's see then. So the armor class for a challenge rating 18 is recommended to be 19. Cool. I can get away with 14. This is a hilariously low armor class. Is that? No, that's not correct, is it? No, wait, no. I need to bring that a lot higher. I only wanted it to be a little bit down. Yeah, let's bring that up to 16. Yeah, bring it up to 16, and we'll just, at this point, natural armor. The Prime gets armor. The rest of them didn't have it, but the Prime can have some. On top of that, challenge rating 18, plus 2 for the hit points. We want to go for 300. Jason, you know what to do. Stats across the board, I think it is a +1 to everything for the Prime. Yep. So, 20, 18, plus 4. 20 for +5, 16 for +3, 16 for +3, and 14 for +2. Saving throws, let's add here, definitely not dexterity. Let's go for wisdom. Challenge 18, the proficiency bonus. What is proficiency at that point? You know, it starts at 2, and then at level 5, 9, 13, 17 it goes up. Yeah, it should be a 6. Yeah. Should be a +6. The XP at level 18 is 20k. Oh, but let's just keep doubling. That's a thing. Bullet jump once per turn. They can cover 3 times, because Primes can always do 3 times the distance. Just a design choice, which means that the vertical there, 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24 foot. The horizontal is 60 foot. They'll need to dash to get the full value out of it. 32d8 plus 160 for 304. Okie dokie. Let's go for that. Sounds good to me. Yep, that all adds up. Perfect. Okay then. Bloodlust can stay where it is. Dread Barrier, I'm not going to change that one. Blood Altar, I am going to change that one now to a 30-foot aura. So that will make this a 6th level jump up. Let's make it stronger. They regain, instead of 12, they regain... Oh yeah, I didn't change that earlier. Let's bump this right the way up. Let's make this 20 hit points. The other one I didn't change, but let's change that to 15. Not a huge increase there, but this one, yeah, definitely a lot more. Apparently D is running limited combined Prime Resurgence run, adding Necros and Oberon Primes to this and the next rotations. Oh, fair enough, Moon. Fair enough. That came out of left field, not gonna lie. Alright. Let's change up all the stat stuff. So the DC on this is 3 plus 6 plus 8. So that's 9 plus 8, 17. The attack bonus. We're not even using the attack bonus on spells. Yeah, I should probably get rid of the attack bonus field. It might actually be confusing, given that I'm not using it, but I'm using a melee attack instead. So I'm going to get rid of that there for Garuda. Just to avoid confusion. That's better. Alright. Paladin and Death Paladin in the same rotation. It makes sense. Life and death. They like to have these yin and yang style approaches. At least somewhat thematically linked to DE. Alright then, stats all the way through. We summoned the barrier. DC is, we said 17. This there, 45 foot, plus 9 to hit is now going to be a plus 11 to hit. The con save is not 13, it's 13. Did I not change that? Ooh. Wait. Yeah, no, that should be definitely 15. Why was that still 13? Silly me. Right then. Yeah, DC 17. On failed save, they take X amount of damage. Let's increase that damage a bit. To D12. Which just bumps this up by another 2. Yeah, 13. Yeah. Need to get IR badge all out. I think I have like 100 IR. I just haven't been spending it. Probably not what you wanted to hear right now, but yeah. Oh. I didn't finish doing this as well. Don't ignore that. Wiz save is a plus 9. Char save is a plus 8. That should have a comma. Con save is a 11. That makes sense. Yes, it does. Alright, cool. Alrighty. I think that is all the stat buffs I need to do up here. Bloodletting has no stat buffs we need to worry about. Oh, I did need to set in as well the immunities. And we need a new skill. And the skill stats need to change. Did I even change the acrobatic stat? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Whoops. That was dumb. Garuda. We got acrobatics, intimidation, performance. What final skill do we give to Garuda? What final skill that sends it all the way up? What do I do for condition damage resistance immunities? So for the immunities, I have on the primes, they gain condition immunities, prone and restrained. All primes get that because they get prime sure-footed. That's how I do it. But usually they don't get much in the way of damage immunities, no. Instead they have all the saving throws. Well, 3 saving throws. Yeah, prone and restrained is enough to get them there. Climbing is not a skill. Athletics would be the skill. Give them athletics. With all the leaping she's doing, maybe. Survival. What about medicine? Having torn all these creatures apart and all the gore spilling everywhere, you'd think that Garuda would learn a thing or two about anatomy and all the rest. That's just a pharmacist without the P. Yeah, medicine. It's on it. It's funny. Medicine will go here. Medicine is going to be intelligent. Is it? Yeah, it's. Is it intelligence or wisdom based? Wisdom. Okay. Don't know why I thought it was intelligence for a second there. Medicine is wisdom. 3 plus 6 is plus 9. Boom. Alrighty. Acrobatics, which is dexterity, has become a plus 10 by this point. Intimidation is plus 2 plus 6 plus 6, 12, 14. That one's 14. There we go. Passive perception is up to 13. Jason, you misheard me. A pharmacist without the P. P. A pharmacist without the P. Now have a look at the word again. Makes much more sense. There we go. You got there. Alrighty. Let's see. So I said the Blood Altar is now a stronger spell, so making it 7th level. That's good. Dread Barrier didn't change. We'll leave that 4th level. The multi-attack, these details changed. The strength brings us to 11 and plus 5. We'll figure out the necrotic if I need to increase that in a moment. This has become a 10 and a plus 4. That's a 15, and that is a 15, and we'll figure out the details beyond that in a moment. You mean your pharmacist doesn't do blood magic? Not that I've noticed, but, you know, I don't see what they do at the back of the pharmacy. Maybe that's how they generate the pills? You Mogwai Fidey Zhao and things to that effect, I suppose. In any case, we have the ability I forgot the name of again. Seeking Talons, that was it. Was it Seeking Talons or is that the augment? Yeah, it's Seeking Talons. There we go. Okay, cool. Now, Eddie, you're saying no, it's Blending Talons. If I find that that is the augment, and it is, I'm going to be charitable, Eddie, and presume that you meant no, it, i.e. the augment, is Blending Talons. It seems like you might be trying to throw me off there, Eddie. Anyway, Seeking Talons. Spell. 1 action. And we're going to give this one a minute duration. No concentration needed on it. 1 minute. 1 minute. Singular. There we are. Okay. Garuda lifts a few feet. And I'm just going to say a few feet because it's going to be ambiguous. It doesn't need to be specific. Garuda lifts a few feet into the air. Hovering briefly as it channels. How do we want to do this? Levitates a few feet? Yeah, levitates is more accurate, I suppose. Levitates. Yo! Eddie, you finally got it!
The cult is still present.
It is indeed. Twitch has finally caught up to itself with daylight savings, whatever's happened along that line. And thank you very much for resubscribing at 10 months, you ledge. Cheers, indeed. The hour has indeed passed. Now returns the hour of Eddie. In fact, you know what? I know you want it. For the sake of it, let's do it. We'll switch it up. Alright, Garuda levitates a few feet into the air, hovering briefly as it channels... no, as it summons How would I want to describe spears? It calls them seeking talons, but they're more like spears. As it conjures animated duplicates of its talons. There we go. Ah. That should do it. As it conjures animated duplicates of its talons. Garuda targets every hostile creature in a cone in a, shall we say 60 foot? We want to go longer. Ultimate ability, 90 foot. 90 foot cone in front of it. If it's line of sight, now you said that I outlaw, I don't want it to have line of sight. Because normal ability in Warframe doesn't have line of sight, and you know what? That seems even more terrifying. You take cover, you think, look, Garuda can't see us here, we'll be fine. And then just talons skewer straight through the wall. I think that's pretty terrifying. So it's great. Yeah, let's go straight through the walls. Especially as we can use bloodletting to recast this one. Music. Oh, it just went quiet. Right. I was gonna say. So, Garuda targets every hostile creature in a 90-foot cone in front of it, ignoring cover and invisibility. If you are targetable by magic, you are targeted. Garuda's infinite wallbang? Yup. At least with Seeking Talons. Just Seeking Talons. Because Blood Altar launches a creature it can see. Dread Barrier, creature it can see. So yeah, both of those are limited. Seeking Talons is straight up to whom it may concern. Everyone over there. Now we need to figure out what that actually does to them. Garuda targets every hostile creature in a 90-foot cone in front of it, ignoring cover and invisibility. Each targeted creature must make a dexterity saving throw. And it's not going to be too crazy here. It's only DC 17. This will get around the tower shield? Seems so. And to balance out the lack of cover and line of sight, because it's ignoring cover anyway, I think I'll make it where it only has an effect on hit. So if you save, you save. So each targeted creature must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failure, the creature takes... And this is where we get into it, and I've just had an idea come to mind. How about the creature takes some small amount of damage? Say, at this level, it's only going to be 4d6 damage. At the start of each of their turns, they take this damage again, and again, and again. The bleeding effect. Every time they receive damage from a spell or weapon attack, the damage dice increases. The number of dice, that is. 5d6, 66, 76, 86. The building bleed for as high and as long as it needs to go. If they receive healing magic, they can reduce the hit dice, the number of dice based on the level of spell cast. I have no idea where you're going with that, Ray. Oh. Do I base it a level? Because there's some group AoE heals. Well, maybe rewarding those is a good idea. Yeah, let's reward the group AoE heals. They don't get enough love. Spell in Pathfinder goes up in damage dice as it goes on. Oh, that sounds nasty. Sounds like a lot of info to track. It is a lot, yeah. Almost sounds like Vaults 4. I think we did Vaults 4 differently. Vault Prime, Discharge. Creature targeted must make a dex save. On failed save, they take lightning damage or half as much on success. That's different already. Creature can be hit multiple times if they're in range of multiple initial targets. And then they take further damage over time as well. If they're still affected by the lightning. Similar but different. Similar but different. Individual damage increase per player per damage instance. Damage turn per player per attack. Yeah, there is a lot to track there, isn't there? That might not be valid. Oh, that's Master. I want the Prime. That might not be a valid approach then. Let me see. I wanted to tie into, whilst you're affected, you are in some way marked. Marked leads to bleed. How do we track this? Yeah, I want things to be user-friendly. I've said it all the way through. I don't want to give the DM too much to track. I know that in these high-level things, it's going to get really complicated anyway. Loads of complicated spells going out. The less I can force upon the DM to have to track, the less things I need to just go, oh yeah, that happens, the better. So I could make it just not have to scale. Vulnerability to slash damage. Vulnerability to slash damage is an interesting approach, Goleta. That's an interesting one. Because, of course, Garuda's using slash damage, but slash only on the talons, not the Nagantaka. And then I've reduced the amount of scaling on the slash because moving into necrotic damage. So it's not actually going to be as ridiculous. So yeah, while affected, the creature becomes vulnerable to slash damage, losing any resistance or immunity they have to slash damage. That could do it, yeah. Seeking Talents plus Bloodlust, you can do 4 times damage if it sets up on you. Yeah, that could scale quite nastily, but hey, level 18s, deal with it. Yeah, I think that works. I like it. So, on a failure, the creature takes... And we're just going to go with a small amount. I'll figure out if I need to go higher. No, let's come back to the damage. We'll come back to the damage. Take some amount of slashing damage. On a failure, the creature immediately takes... Oh, I misspelled damage. And again... Oh. Immediately takes such and such slash damage. At the... I'll come back to the repeat damage in a moment. The creature becomes vulnerable to slashing damage, removing any resistance or immunity to slash damage if present, and immediately takes some amount of slash damage. At the start of Garuda's turns, for the spell duration, at the start of Garuda's turns, each affected creature may make a Constitution saving throw, DC 17. And I've said may, so they could choose not to if there's some reason they want to let themselves take the damage. On a success, the spell effect ends on that creature. On a failure, the spell continues. And the creature takes another XX slashing damage. That, I think, scales as a horrifying power. Slash damage, bypass damage reduction as well. Yeah, so you become vulnerable. If you had resistance, it's gone. You are vulnerable to slash damage. It's just slash. So piercing, bludgeoning, not a problem. Necrotic, not a problem. Any other stuff, not a problem. But slash is a problem. Just to make sure that there's no protection against that. This is meant to be. No, this is a problem. Screen now. This is yeah, it's meant to be a terrible threat. This one. I mean, we'll see in playtesting if it comes out to be a problem. When someone tries it out and goes, actually, your Garuda Prime just wiped out my entire level of 20s. I think it's all balanced. Like, okay, let's find out what happened. I'll resim this in a moment. Let's bring this in, see how it feels, scale the numbers, take it from there. At least with this, it is slash damage from the Seeking Talon. So this damage from the Talon's ability will not benefit from Bloodlust, because Bloodlust only benefits weapon attacks. So Seeking Talons will not deal double damage. So, we got the spell as cast, we've got the area, we've got the save to resist it, we've got what happens if you fail to, we've got the follow-on DCs to try and escape the spell earlier. We just need to figure out the damage totals to put into everything. So, let's have a look then. We have got Challenge 18, we're looking for 90 damage per round. Medium monstrosity. Medium is the size, Lorftafdan. So medium means that they are approximately humanoid in size and shape. Well, approximately humanoid in size. That puts them anywhere to around about maybe 5 foot tall, slightly under 5 foot, to at most maybe about 7 foot. Beyond that, they'll reach into a large creature. Quick question, what level of party should each level frame be fought? So that is what the challenge rating means. The challenge rating says that a party of 4 adventurers of this level should find this to be a medium encounter. The way encounters go is that easy is a cakewalk. You probably won't even spend any resources. You bitch slap that fight. Medium is you might need to spend a couple resources to be able to get through, but you should be able to handle it fine. Hard is you're going to be spending a fair number of resources on this one. No one should go down, but it's going to cost you a bit. And then deadly is you're going to be spending a lot of resources. There is a not insignificant chance that someone will actually be dying as a result of this encounter. So challenge 18 blankly says level 18 should handle Garuda Prime without too much issue, unless they've already been weakened by something else seriously. Are Dread Barrier and Blood Altar class as weapon attacks for Bloodlust passive? Kind of. Dread Barrier, you hit with the Talon's attack. Talon's attack is a weapon attack. Blood Altar, you make a melee spell attack, so Blood Altar does not count for Bloodlust. I do make it very specific. An attack with its talons against a target creature doesn't have any stats here. It says talons, use the talon stat block. I've already got you covered on that one, Idle Outlaw. Already got it covered. Dread Mirror, upgraded to deal damage in a 15-15 square in front of it. Dread Barrier. It's already 15. I don't know what you're saying there, Ray. It's already 15. We're already there. Gaming running is level 3, there's 4 of them. Oh, excellent. If I scroll you up to the top here then. Challenge rating 3, Excalibur Initiate. I would say it's only a medium. So if you want it to be a nice introduction, bring in your Excalibur Initiate and give him a Kubra, give him a wolf. Just put a basic standard wolf penguin with your Excalibur Initiate, and your fight has just become that little bit more dynamic. Highly recommend something like that. Ooh, keep scrolling. It's a big document these days. Think I mean damage for the shatter? The damage of 14 is basically 15. That is creatures within 15 feet make a dex save when it explodes. That is the thing. Instead of cone, it's a square. It's not a cone. Creatures within 15 feet on the other side of the barrier from Garuda must make a dex save. It doesn't say a cone, it says within 15 feet on the wrong side. That's basically a 15-foot cube. Nowhere does it say cone. If anything, it would be slightly larger than a 15-foot cube, because you can argue the barrier is 10 foot wide. Things on that side of it, that's going to reach out to quite a distance, actually. So yeah, already got you covered on that one. Like I was saying, trying to test these. We'll be trying to test these. We'll get back to you on how these fights go. Love to hear it, Penguin. Absolutely. Really looking forward to hearing how these actually play out. Making D&D homebrew out of Warframe? Absolutely. Is finished products going to be Patreon exclusive? Nope. All of this is going to be publicly available once I've completed it. Support is highly suggested because, you know, this has not been a short document. Each Warframe takes me about 3 hours to fully stack together. Granted, I'm bouncing off chat and getting distracted a lot, but chat is also speeding up bits I otherwise have to think through. So it's about 3 hours even off stream to make one Warframe. Given there's 52 of them currently, you can see that's going to take me a while to finish the whole document, but the whole thing is going to be freely available once I complete it. Absolutely. But please support me. Right, damage calculation. Let's figure out where we're at. So, challenge rating 18. We're looking for about 90 damage per round, so 2 rounds is 270. Let's start taking off bits of damage we'd expect. We can expect to start with Seeking Talons, then Blood Altar, then Dread Barrier. Let's use that for numbers' sake. No, let's skip the Blood Altar in the calculation here. Let's assume that that's just not good enough. I'm going to skip the Blood Altar in the calculation, because I think Dread Barrier is going to give us more. Yeah, no. Garuda would want to use Dread Barrier for defense, so yeah. Let's go with that. Seeking Talons, Dread Barrier, and then just straight up attacks. Let's calculate what that does. So, Seeking Talons, I'm going to say that 2 enemies are affected. As a standard AoE calculation, 2 enemies affected. We'll come back to the numbers on what that actually leads to. With 2 enemies affected, we cast that, and then we get the bonus action to use the Talons. So we got Seeking Talons, we've got a double damage Talon in. Yeah, absolutely, Shadow. Absolutely. The whole document will be freely available once I've finished. Completely. Already most of the document that I've done so far, all the way up to Frost, so it's the starter frames and then every frame alphabetically up to Frost, minus Citrine, is currently available over on my Discord. So if you want to try it out straight away, you absolutely can. I would really appreciate it if you get back to me with feedback on how it plays in your games. You go to my Discord, you go to the Miscellaneous Games Forum, which is freely available. You go to Warframes of Dungeons & Dragons Monsters, freely available. You click the link here, freely available. You get the whole lot up from Excalibur, Mag, Vault, and then every frame up to Frost. I've got a Warframe for every tier of play, so you got 4 Warframes of each Warframe, that is. Enjoy it, and let me know. Seriously, I need playtest results. That's the trade for it being free. You should be more thoughtful at owning the name new Warframes using letters I haven't done yet. Maybe. So, back to calculation. We're going to get a quick attack Talons. So, effectively that's 2 Talons because of the double damage from Seeking Talons. Next turn, we'll do Dread Barrier. It uses a Talon attack, so that's effectively 2 Talons. Plus a quick attacker at 6 Talons. And then on the final turn, we're expecting that Garuda will be at half health or lower. And Garuda is going to go all out on the Talons attacks. We've done 6 Talons. This will be another 3 Talons. Doubled for 6. Doubled again for 12. Oh boy. 12 plus 6, 18 effective Talon attacks. Currently then, 18 effective Talon attacks at 22 damage a pop. Yeah, it's 22 damage a pop. We'll come out to 396 damage. We were supposed to do 270. However did I go? 126 over. Which is practically 40 damage per turn. It's that last turn is what does it. Multi-attack of Talons, plus the quick attack Talons, plus the Bloodlust, or multiplied by Bloodlust, multiplied by Seeking Talons. That's what does it. But I will point out that requires Garuda to be unimpeded. That requires them to be on Bloodlust. That requires them to have used Seeking Talons on a target. That target has to be affected by Seeking Talons. That target has to be in melee range. And that target has to take every single one of the Talons attacks. So if the players allow Garuda to get that close, and if the players allow Garuda to cast all these spells, and if the players succumb, or one target mostly succumbs to Talon, then this is going to be absolutely devastating. Garuda Prime versus Garuda Prime. Garuda Prime would kill Garuda Prime in 3 turns. Does she have every chance to close distance? Lord Daftan, yes but no, because you see, Garuda Prime can use Bullet Jump and Dread Barrier and Blood Altar to try and get closer. However, those are using actions. Dread Barrier and Blood Altar, they're both for using actions. That's no triple slashy. On top of that, this is against level 18 characters. Level 18 characters, for example, the Wizard at that point has access to Meteor Swarm. I would like to, for those of you who do not know, introduce you to Meteor Swarm, 5th edition style. Here it is, Meteor Swarm. This is a single action spell that a character at 17th level can cast. Blazing orbs of fire plummet at the ground at 4 different points you can see within the range being 1 mile. That is 5,280 feet. Each creature in a 40-foot radius sphere centered on each point, that's each creature 40-foot radius, must make a dexterity saving throw. The sphere spreads around corners. The creature takes 20d6 fire and 20d6 bludgeoning on a failed save. That is 140 damage per creature. Screw out one person in particular. Well, that's the thing, Penguin. 4 different points, 40-foot radius. That is 140 damage per creature that fails a save, and there are multiple locations from a Meteor Swarm where you just point in the direction, and a mile away, death. Just death. So when you consider that a wizard a mile away can drop 140 damage on Garuda, when you consider that, is Garuda really that powerful? You can make a small area that meteors hit 5 foot apart. Well, that's the other thing. Creature in the area of more than 1 fiery burst is only affected once, so no. But no. It's still up to 140 per creature. Well, average damage 140. With 20d6 rolled twice, you're going to get the average near enough. Point is, Wizard be strong. And this is just one spell from one class. In fact, 2 classes can do it. So if you have a sorcerer and wizard in the party, they can both just look at each other, chuckle, and point in the direction of whoever they want to immolate. And that's that. So yeah, Garuda, I don't think it's going to be too powerful with this. So let's put some damage on this ability now. Let's go with... Immediately takes... 46. It's 46, comes out to an average of 14. Yeah. Which, given the vulnerability, they'll actually be taking 28 damage. And if they don't save, it continues to affect them. We'll continue to just hit them with 14, 46 slashing damage. What's the math without Bloodlust? Because if that's below the expected damage output, she's fine, right? Yeah, let's double check that. So, If you don't have Bloodlust, triple attack from this with Seeking Talons. Seeking Talons will hit straight away on a target for 14. 2 targets, so that's going to be 28. Because I've just created that. So let's add that into the equation here. And then Talons triple attack. Oh, yeah, I doubled the 7s. Whoops. Talons triple attack on the target that's affected is going to take 15 3 times, doubled because of Seeking Talons, plus 7 3 times, not doubled. It's 139. So if we've got... But that is after Seeking Talons is cast on the previous one. Seeking Talons on that first round would have been 28 plus 15 times 2 plus 7. So that's 204 damage across 2 turns. 204 damage across 2 turns is over 100. That's too much. That is too much. Okay. Okay. That's too much. No, we need to scale this down. I know that Garuda's got, like, no armor class comparatively, but it's not even that low. No, that needs to come down. Okay. Step 1. I'm not going to remove resistance or immunity to slash if present. Let's take that straight out of there. That's going to be too much. Let's see. So, each targeted creature must make a dex save. Becomes vulnerable to slashing damage. Let's skip the slashing damage. Skip that entirely. For the spell duration, at the start of Garuda's turns, each affected creature may make a Constitution saving throw. On a success, the spell effect ends on that creature. Take out the damage. There. So now, if Garuda uses just Seeking Talons and then 2 lots of just Talon Onslaught, that's skipping the Dread Barrier, that's skipping the Blood Altar. They just use Seeking Talons and then the rest. We'll get a Talon at double power, followed by 3 Talons at double power, and then the final turn, probably Bloodlusted, 3 Talons at double power. Let's calculate that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 at double power, 3 at quadruple power. 4 times 2 plus... Oh, it's not quite that. Yeah, so that's... Well, double slash. So... 4 of the attacks would be 37. And then 3 of the attacks would be double that. Which comes out total of 370 damage, which across 3 turns is still 123. That's high. That's high. Oh, but vulnerability seems so good. Okay, let's consider this outside of the meta some more. Into the grander meta. We're looking at vulnerability. The vulnerability seems to be doing too much. So, vulnerability is only as good as application. We have to consider the levels we're working with here. This is I'm always using the passive as active on the final turn. Because what I'm assuming here, Ray, for the calculation is that Garuda gets first turn without Bloodlust, second turn without Bloodlust. By that point, they are now down to at least below half health. Third turn is with Bloodlust. And then I'm comparing that to the amount of damage they should be outputting to see if it balances out. So a debuff is only as good as its application. Bearing in mind that the application here, sure, they're taking more damage from slash, but the only source of slash that Garuda then has is to actually get in range to melee things. If the party are staying out of melee range, Garuda is screwed. Garuda cannot fly. Garuda has no flight ability. If Garuda leaps up to an enemy that's in the air, sure, Garuda leapt up and did a single Talons with Dread Barrier, and then Garuda drops, which is kind of a problem for Garuda. So Garuda is extremely vulnerable to long-range combat. With that in mind, that means that Garuda can be very devastating when allowed to get close. Level 18 should have a way to handle that, I would imagine. There is the combination that could be a threat there of Blood Altar, but then by using Blood Altar, Garuda isn't directly attacking, because that takes up a whole action. Yeah, this Dread Barrier, I did increase it to 60 feet. I'm going to bring that back down to 45. Yeah, I'll bring that back down to 45. That works. Well, Blood Altering a flying enemy, does it ground them? I've said that it restrains them. Let's see. It's restrained by the Spectral Talons, anchoring it to the spot. So they stay where they are. The Talons that we skewer them with just hold them in place. Just adds a bit of an interest to it. Besides, Garuda normally wouldn't want to do that because then the aura's up in the air. Now Garuda can't use the aura. Kind of sucks for Garuda. Yeah. I think this is risky. It's very high damage, but it requires things to go in Garuda's favor. And we are talking maximum damage output, skipping out on Blood Altar, skipping out Dread Barrier, just going Seeking Talons, full-on Talons. By doing that, Garuda will probably die quicker. Yeah, Daft Down, it works in Warframe because it has a bigger area. I've designed it with a smaller area to make it more tactical. What if we do Seeking Talons do damage but remove the vulnerability? That just makes it boring, I'll be honest. That just makes it Garuda targets people, they take damage. Job done. It's just boring. And the last thing I want to create is something boring. I'm gonna leave this to playtesting, I'll be honest. I'm going to leave this to playtesting. She doesn't have no anti-air, Lord Darth. Garuda does have the Nagantaka, which allows Garuda to deal, what's that, 44 damage per round. Just with an action from a multi-attack. She's still got the Nagantaka, it's just the Nagantaka is a piercing weapon, not a slashing weapon, in D&D. Very quickly make that distinction there. So that means that Garuda doesn't want to be a ranged attacker, but Garuda does have ranged attacks. I think basically it comes down to, look, if you allow your players to get if the players allow themselves to get next to Garuda Prime, they screwed up. Garuda Prime has the ability to run and to jump, sure, but Garuda Prime is still Garuda Prime. I haven't given Garuda Prime any legendary actions, I've just noticed. Actually, I haven't done any legendary actions at all for Garuda Prime or Master. Nah, it's balanced. Other primes, like if we look at, for example, Gara Prime here, Gara Prime can move up to half its speed as a legendary action. And we got, if I go up to Frost Prime can attack as part of legendary actions as well as reposition. So, yeah. Garuda Prime is locked entirely to her own action economy, which means that the players can run circles around her. Once Garuda's done her turn, she's done until she gets her next turn. So if the players just back up, Garuda's like, but no, you... Oh. What if Seeking Talons doesn't innately do damage per turn, but instead requires them to take damage in order to trigger it? I don't understand. Well, like, it would just be a damage amplifier? Like, you just say, if you take damage, you take more damage? That's basically where we were going with vulnerability, though. Not to mention the vulnerability to slash specifically to make it more targeted. The numbers are high, but as one final difference, I'm going to point over here. It says that the damage can scale plus or minus 50% based on the concept outside of the bounds as given. Technically, that's because D&D's challenge rating system is a bit wonk. More to the point here, I feel we could get away with it. I might need to bump up the challenge rating to 19. May need to bump the challenge rating to 19. I think this should be okay. The other thing I'd like, you're saying if Garuda attacks a marked target, with this setup, the marked targets, the ones which have been affected by Seeking Talons, take extra damage from slash from other sources as well. I think Gara is a slash source? Yeah, Battle Axe does slashing damage, whereas the Glass Dart is piercing damage. And then Shattered Lash can do either slashing or piercing. So there is potential for synergy there. Like, Gara might go, but I want to use a piercing attack. Where he's like, yeah, but you get double damage on the slash. And I was like, but piercing! I want to hit them! So then the DM now has more to think about as well, in terms of tactics, which the players can backwardly balance off. Yeah. It doesn't at the moment? What doesn't at the moment, Garuda? I'm going to take the risk on leaving this one as is. Also, I'm aware of the time. I have definitely run over. Again, these D&D ones always run over. Seeking Talons. 9th level. It is a 9th level, after all. Yeah. Did we ever settle on Prime Bloodletting bonus effect? Oh, we were considering having it remove status. Actually, I didn't even put in the condition immunities. Where do condition immunities go in the thing? Under senses. Condition immunities. Prone, restrained. Because all Prime Warframes have access to Prime Sure-Footed, is what's happening there. Restrained? Restrained, Ken. I know how to spell. Given what we've discussed about Garuda Prime being so powerful, I'm going to skip on giving Garuda Prime anything more from Bloodletting. If Garuda Prime has negative effects such as poisoned or not restrained, poisoned or slowed, hell, even unconscious, tough to deal with it. Yeah, I'm going to leave Bloodletting where it is. Ooh, I haven't increased the hit point cost on it. I'm going to increase the hit point cost to 60. So then it's still about 20% of their health. That's the balancing factor I'll take there. Let's make Bloodletting slightly more costly on Garuda Prime. But I think that should have it. It's spicy, it's scary. Garuda Prime is dangerous. Only if you let her be dangerous. If you're up against non-slashing other enemies, then it's not so bad. Just stand back from the claws, you know? Social distancing, it will save your life, even when you are fighting war machines from a bygone era. Alright. Lady would say I'm struggling desperately to stay awake because there is still stuff to be done. Well, on that note then, let's, for the sake of Ladybug, definitely wrap this up as well. I think that should be fair. Recommended encounter, every slashy enemy ever? Yeah. If you know how to dance, you can outplay Garuda, which is ironic given that Garuda knows how to dance. Performance plus 14. Like, how many monsters have a plus 14 to performance? How many? That's certainly something unique right there. It doesn't matter to the combat, but hey, if you somehow get onto Garuda's good side, you're in for a show. And if you're on Garuda's bad side, you're in for a show as well. You're just an unwilling participant. I think that is definitely where we're going to have to wrap that one up then. It's been an interesting one to make. What will be the next one then? Next one is Gauss, isn't it? Ooh. Well, if you want to see what happens with the production of Gauss, you're just going to have to vote for it. Those of you who are subscribers, obviously you can vote for what is on the upcoming Friday stream, so make sure you do so. I'll put the poll up shortly after the end of this one over in the Supporter Tea Lounge. If you are not currently a subscriber, then what you'll need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe here, you can subscribe on Patreon, or subscribe on YouTube. All three of those, the paid subscription on YouTube, not the free one, all three of those give you access to it. Meek Deep, you are asking for a raffle. There is not a raffle today. Today is Variety Friday. On Sunday is when we've got the Hildren Prime Access giveaway. So if you would like to see more of this, make sure you vote for it. And if you'd like to win Hildren Prime Access, tune in on Sunday for a chance for that. In any case, though, that is where we're going to wrap this up. I will get to Citrine later on, Ray. I will circle back to Citrine once I've done the others down the alphabet. I just, yeah, I feel like doing it that way. Citrine's too new to jump the queue. But that, chat, that's why I'm love you and leave you. Thank you very much for joining in. I hope you have enjoyed this little foray once again into turning Warframes into D&D monsters. As I said, once the entire document is complete, it will be freely available to everyone. So your support in helping that happen is always appreciated. Well, that's it from Duff Dan. When will I continue the FTL run? When it gets voted for. Simple as that. FTL got voted for on a stream, played it on stream. And now you need to wait for it to be voted for again. I use a cumulative vote system, so every game that does not get played on a Friday stream keeps its votes and carries them to the next week. So FTL, I can tell you, is currently on... Let me see here. It's currently gained 3.25 votes from this week's vote. 0.25 because if someone votes for multiple items, they split their vote across them. For comparison, the D&D stuff only gained 2.33 this week, so FTL gained more votes. It wasn't the highest voted item, but it gained more votes this week, so the more that happens, the sooner it comes back. Right, now I really have to go. Everyone, have yourselves a good one. I'll see you at the end of the weekend. Be your absolute best, and enjoy the affinity boost I think we get now on Warframe. Till Sunday. Bye-bye.